mean, it's not blinking anymore. You're good.
Okay, it's Monday, April 11th at 8:31 a.m. and we're opening hearings for the Aransas County Appraisal Review Board. Do we have a quorum?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Okay. So we're going to be starting off with several hearings. Anyone in particular?
I have one that's, it should be account number 52290. It's under the name Scarpaki, but it's really Patel because there's an ownership change. You see that?
Yes.
Scarpaki. And
It's on page 2,
and
and it's 2311 is the case.
And for this one, basically what I want to say is that subsequent to the delivery of notice, the subject property owner, the new owner, came in and asked for a postponement. He went to India recently. It's a district position that you would, he's out of the country at the current time. Make a ruling on that, but he put it in writing on this card that it says to ARB, and this was delivered on March 28th. 2022. I wish to postpone the hearing on the 11th. I am in India at this time. I will be back on April 29th. Thank you.
Okay, and it's within the 10-day period, so it's not an issue with that timing either.
Yeah.
Prior to the.
It was prior to the hearing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was delivered prior to.
Okay, so you want to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion regarding account number, case ID number 2021-2311, account 52290, that the protester is given just cause for postponement of his hearing. And we will grant that postponement.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we're going to reschedule.
Yes, reschedule, and we haven't had anyone check in yet, but we have 2 by affidavit. And we're gonna start out with, let me get the number.
Do you have anybody on the participant number should be 1. Number of participants?
Just us.
Okay. Hit the circle. Then hit docs. No, it's, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we do have a call-in.
Okay.
Michael Louder is, account number is 13479, case number is 2302.
122032.
Look over there.
Yeah, I was looking, do you want it back in the middle?
Well, if we got room,
What do we need?
see, we can move the phone over there.
Okay, so these are.
Whoops. Yeah, it's time.
Yeah,
Click on. Yeah, there you go.
this is not from the one. I
think you may-
downloaded it all.
There you go.
You got it?
I'm doing it, yeah. Okay. Okay. 2013, 20 what?
2021-2302. Here's the phone number we'll use.
We are on 2021-2302.
Under which?
Hearings.
Hearings, sorry.
Yeah, hearings, and then pick the 8:30 docket, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything on a second.
There's 2021, 23.
Are we okay? Okay, we're commencing a hearing on case ID 2021-2302, account number 13479. This is Michael Lauder, Bay House Condominiums. This hearing is being recorded. And can you verify what exactly is under protest?
2525D.
Okay, so this is a 2525D correction. We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing, well, let's go ahead and dial them in.
Seven, 1, 3, 2, 5, 3, 8, 1, 2, 3 is not available.
Yeah.
Mr. Louder, this is the Aransas County Appraisal Review Board calling to discuss your protest. Give us a call back, as that's when we begin your hearing. So, our telephone number is
361
361
729
729
9733.
9733. Thank you.
We do have one that's after.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one is going to be case number 2021-2302. I'm sorry, 03. Account number 42592. Yeah, just work on the top part. Sorry, go back. I said it wrong. Name on it should be Meza.
Okay, we're commencing a hearing on case ID 2021-2303, account number 42592. Jose Meza, property is the Campbell Block 9 over in Aransas Pass. This hearing is being recorded. And can you verify the?
Yes, on his affidavit, he's indicated, correct appraised market value, and on our form, it has a 2525D correction.
Okay.
I don't see anything on here about his affidavit about 2525.
He had previously turned in a Form 5230 and stated the 2525D property is.
Oh, we have that form, 50,
Yeah.
30, okay, I didn't look at that.
Yeah,
Yes.
looks to be in order.
Okay, he has indicated that. So I guess we're hearing them both, but we're actually making one and the same,
Well, it's Q1, but it's going to be
25.
2525D. Yeah, right, Ray?
That is correct. Motion for the hearing is that the property is incorrect market value, and the stipulation is that it's 1/3 over appraisal.
Okay, we are the appraisal review board that will be hearing the protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of the protest. Protester has a right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to the protester with our determination. In accordance with Tax Code Section 41.45H, all written material is assumed to have been provided with the affidavit. And I see that we have taxpayer evidence submitted. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing affidavits to that effect. I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Captain Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with a person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66.
I, Peggy Bird, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code 41.66F.
I, Ron McCann, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code 41.66F.
I, Joanne Ferguson, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code 41.66F.
I, Ray Presley, do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. And I'm just looking at the evidence, and it looks like everything has been appropriately notarized. Okay, the district representative will now read the affidavit into the record.
So the section 1 is the property owner, and it's Jose Mesa. Has an address in Aransas Pass on Railroad Street. And there's a phone number and an email address. The property description is section 2, which is 2012 Holden Road, Aransas Pass, Texas 78336. Section 3 is reasons for protest. First box checked is incorrect, appraised market value. Section 4, provide the total number of pages. With the evidence, it says there's 20 pages here. Hearing type is I do not intend to appear at the hearing, either in person or by telephone conference, and this affidavit and evidence and or argument submitted with it may be used for the hearing if I do not appear in person at the hearing. The notary is in San Patricio by Melissa Corey, signed April 1, 22, and Jose Mesa signed it also April 1, 2022. So scrolling down here, the next page is from the Texas National Title Inc. in Portland, Texas. It's a buyer's final closing statement. The close date in the upper right-hand corner says 6/16/2020. Sales price $47,000. And then there's some itemization to that data here. Balance due from borrower ends up being 46 and change. Signed by Mr. Mesa and by a settlement coordinator, Mary Ann Sellers. On the next page, there's a little bit of a cashier's check there with a post-it note, property purchase property for $47,000. And then you can see the cashier's check there on June 16 of 2020. So scrolling down, there's going to be a photo. Looks like, I'm not sure what's on this property. That's potentially a mobile home or just a site built end of a house that's blown out on one end. And then there's another picture. You can kind of see the corner of a house with a window unit and a little small porch of some sort. Then there's another photo taken a little further back where you can see more of the improvements in the land itself. Okay, more photos. I'm gonna scroll through these photos. Let's see, then there's a note that says surrounded by woods, period, tall grass. Driveway disintegrated, made whole, low cars hit the floor. Rotten old wooden deck from previous owners. Asphalt driveway cracked, overgrown, breaks easily, and it's fragile. See, no power pole, breakers, everything was stolen and broken down, broken windows, non-livable. The structure, non-livable, there's tall grass and trash everywhere. Abandoned, asbestos filled, full of trash from previous owners, not livable. Trash. Which is a picture of a pile of garbage from just laying on the land there. Surrounded by tall grass, left old truck and parts, got stolen, bad neighborhood. That's the end of the taxpayer evidence. The only other form in here that is from the taxpayer is his motion for hearing to correct 1/3 over appraisal error of non-residents homestead property. If it would have been a homesteaded property, then the correction is 1/4 of, so there's two different forms, whether or not you're homesteaded or not. This form was turned in January 1 of 2022. And let's see, is there anything else on here? He does state the value of the property should be $47,000 in his form 5230, the 2525 form. And then he just gives some phone numbers and stuff. So that would be it for the taxpayer evidence. I don't have a cross-examination. There's not anything I want to bring up. I'm just going to go straight into our evidence. We'll all be looking at it for the first time here. It's Monday morning, getting started. Everybody has it in their head. We're talking about 2020, right? We're not in the current year, we're in the previous year. Sometimes that's hard to think about, but we're thinking about this is we're a year behind right now, which is the reason that it has to be a third over, because we're seeing if it's something we want to correct. So this property is on Holden Road. We don't have the benefit of really having a good map in here because of the size of the room, but Holden Road, if you're familiar, like if you're driving south on the bypass and you get to 188 in the bypass, there's roads that intersect the bypass that are Aransas Pass addresses, and it's Holden, Armstrong, Kirby, all of those roads that run perpendicular to the bypass, and they connect to 1069. So that's where this plot of land is. And it's 2.5 acres. And if you look at our property card there, you'll see that we have it as 50% complete, and we have $22,630 in improvements, and $65,250 in the land. And we have a function on the house at 70%. Plus a 50% complete function to the whole. We're pulling the value down, showing that this is a damaged, some sort of damaged property. These are a little tricky here. We're going to show grids of, this is an equity grid of various places. There's some on Holden Road. One of them is a mobile home. One of them is a class 3 home. One of them is a class 2 home. The subject property is a class 2 home. When you look at these, and they're going to compare you know, what's on the subject property and what's on the comparable and try to balance it out. If the subject, if the comparable is of lesser quality, it will add value. If it's a better quality, it'll take away value. Just trying to get comparables here for this damaged property. It's not the easiest thing to do when something's damaged.
Now, he only protested market value,
Yeah, you're right. So I can skip down to sales.
which isn't in your evidence.
No, it is. If you scroll down past the equity grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He
Let's
only,
see.
yeah, so my little spiel there about how things
Comp sales, I'm
compare.
sorry. Yeah.
No, it's good. That's fine.
Yeah.
Stays the same. This is just comparing. If you'll notice, like on comp one, Smith Road and Holden Road are in the same area. They do the same thing. They connect the bypass with 1069. So Smith Road has just a land sale, 85,000 in 2020. Someone bought land for $85,000 in 2020, and they bought considerably more land than the subject owner. When you look at that land square footage there, you'll notice that the subject is 108,000 square feet. And this property over here, that comp number one, is 387,000 square feet. So you're looking at 3 times the land. And they purchased 85,000. When you think like, what does that mean? It means this is a very bad comp for the district, but a very good comp for the owner, right? I mean, seriously, it really is. When you look at that, that's not us. We're not really proving a number there, right? Then the next comp is a house. And this is where it gets tricky. We're comparing a house to a damaged house. It's not the easiest thing to do. You'll notice in that net adjustment in comp number 2, the net adjustment is very big. It's $162,000. Big in comparison to what we're talking about here. We're talking about an $87,000 piece of property, and we have a net adjustment of $162,000. This was $1 million property, that'd be nothing. But in this property, that's pretty large. All right, so we'll go to the next comp. And you'll notice again, this is a $90,000 sale. And it is for twice the land. So Johnson Road is just like Holden Road. Again, very bad comp for the district, very good comp for the subject, for the property owner. And yeah. Go to the next one. Let's look. We got some more stuff. We got a land sale here. Here's where the tide starts to turn. Now we're looking in January, the target date for the appraisal, January 1, land sale. So if you look at that square footage, this land is smaller. So this is just over an acre, about 1.25 acres. He has over 2 acres.
What comp are we on?
Comp number 4.
Okay, Kirby.
Kirby, yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
So this is $100,000, $99,900 for 1.25 acres, January 1. And then the next comp is Jacoby's, just like Holden, $108,000 for 1.25 acres. So these are both January 1 comps. This is the reason why there's a land value change. The newer comps, like the one comp number 3 was all the way back in February of 2020. And comp number 1 was in, what's the 4th month? January, February, March, April. I should know that we're in April. April of 2020. Both of those comps would report that the land value is lower, but as of 2021, January 1, the current comps at the time would report that the land is selling for more. So we don't believe that anyways, I can wrap up that part and let me move into what do I have next? I have like a couple
What's the
minutes.
timing because you know.
Oh, okay, well, let me kind of wrap up our position here. Our position here is that people buy land people get good deals sometimes. It doesn't mean it's a market sale, it just means you got a good deal. And one of the easiest ways to get a deal is to buy something, to get a good deal is to buy something damaged. Because then you're buying someone else's stress. Your benefit is not that your property is worth less. Your benefit is that you did better than everybody else. You just did. You know, these other people paid $100,000 for an acre and a quarter, and you paid $47,000 for two and a quarter acres. So I would agree that there is a halfway decent chance that the $22,000, $22,630 is too much on those improvements. Those improvements look really bad.
You had a 70% completion on it, right?
We do, and a 50. We have a 70% adjustment and a 50% adjustment. So if we were in a normal hearing right now, what I would be saying is, let's just zero out these improvements. The problem that we have today is, the question is does that get us a third? We can't, the district can't say that they can agree to that if it's not a third off the value. And we do not agree that the value should be 47. The district does not agree that the value should be 47. So that's all I have.
I feel like the value of the property is somewhere between the high and the low that's been presented. And as you said, there was several of them were in favor of being lower than the 65, based on what they, purchased larger property for not too much more money. So I'm not too comfortable with the 65, and I definitely think we should take something off the 22,630. based
Sorry,
on
you said
fixed-
you are comfortable with the 65?
No, I'm not.
Or with the
Mhm.
land?
Right.
Okay.
And the 22,630, I think needs to reduce to something, I don't know what, because what he's indicated on his documents is that that base is unlivable, and the pictures pretty much prove that. So I think a 70% completion of 50 is too high.
Yeah, and Ray suggested he would probably be okay with just completely zeroing out the improvements.
I don't have a problem in the world. I just don't think that's a third.
I think it is.
What does that get
A
us?
third of 87,880.
Well,
Third of 87,880 is 29,293.
the way you do the calculations, we come up with a new value, which even if we took the land at 65,250, 65,250 times 1.33, that's 86,970, which is less than the
The 22,630.
yeah.
Divide it by 1.33. I mean, divide it by.
What if you divide the 65?
Are we doing that right, Scott? Make sure we're doing that right. It's
third.
Monday and
Don't take a third of the 87.
this is always, I want to just like say, this part I want to give to you guys because this calculation of a third has been kind of haggled over a few different ways. Is it a third of our value? Is it a third of the predetermined, the value that you guys determined? And I'm comfortable with whatever you guys decide.
Yeah,
So are we cutting it down a third, or is that what we're
No.
talking
No,
about?
I know.
They have to prove that it's 1/3 less than what you got to appraise that. Right.
It's really close. But if you did a third of the land, you come out to like 21.5. And so that would mean that you could. But really, y'all need to do that. I should.
Well, if you zero out the improvements on the 22,630, what is that? What number is that?
65,250.
Oh, so you're taking, okay, we're not gonna have anything on the property.
Okay.
So
So
taking the 22,000 away.
According to our procedures, what we do is we take our corrected value, okay, which is if we zero out the
Improved
improvements. And even if we took the property as what it was, 65 something,
250.
65, 250. Okay, and then we multiply it times 1.33, since this is not a homestead.
Right.
And if that value is less than the current appraised value,
Which is.
which it is,
Mhm.
then it meets the criteria.
Fair enough.
So the only question now is if you want to adjust the property at all, because we've zeroed out the improvements.
I think the property should be adjusted. He proved that he paid 47,000 for it. Yeah, I guess he got a good buy on it, but we don't, it's hard to picture his acreage compared to somebody else's acreage. It's got lots of trees right now. It's got junk and crap all over it. So therefore, I believe is why he probably paid 47.5 for it.
Mhm.
So I think the value should be somewhere between 47 and 65.
Mhm.
I would say it needs to be up more to the 65 because the property value is the property value.
Right, I agree. I mean, granted, he bought it in 2020, a year and a half ago, and the market has gone up. So
It's a big jump.
It's a big jump, yeah.
I still don't think it's worth 65. I'd be comfortable with 55.
You know, when you think of the cost of removing all that junk from it,
That's what I'm
and
saying,
clearing
is
it up
that
to make it equal
other
to the
property
other
is,
property,
The other property, it doesn't appear to be junked up like this.
right,
piece of
it's just
property is.
virgin.
So I don't think it should be 47, but I don't think it should be 65 either. Even realizing that there is an improvement in value based on the time frame. What are you comfortable with?
it's like it's
Somebody
tight.
else?
I'm comfortable with 56,338.
6,000.
That's a 1/3 increase from the prior year, prior value.
Oh, I see what you did. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I
You
did it.
took 1/3 from 38 to 65, right?
Right. Because the prior year, we went from 22,890 to now 80.
That's on the improvements though. You're talking
I'm
about the
sorry.
land. Land,
I'm sorry.
right, so the land was 38.7 and now it's 65,260.
Yes,
260 rather.
yes, I'm sorry.
Is that where you got the
Yeah, that's where I
56,000?
got that from. Because you went from 38 to 65. It's a big jump.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with 56.
So that's what I
Okay, so
am comfortable with. You know,
And zeroing out the profit.
56, Ron, are you okay with that?
I'm good with that.
Mhm.
Joanne?
Yes.
Hang on, let's do the calculation just
yeah,
to double
let's do it
check.
again.
I think it's low. I think
56,
it's low there.
33, yeah, I think it is too, times 1.33.
It's not about off to 340, well, whatever.
Yeah, 340. Okay, that's 74.9, which is less than the 87,880.
Mhm.
So it meets the criteria. Okay, so we're gonna zero out the,
Just give her a number.
Just
Just
Just give me a number, I don't,
okay, 56,338.
No, do it.
56,340.
There you go.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you need a motion?
Mhm.
No. Oh, I'm sorry.
Regarding account number, I'm sorry, ID, I did this. 2021-2303, account number 4242592. Oh, I'm reading the wrong one. Scratch that. Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's the right
That's
one,
right,
I'm
yes.
sorry. It's the opinion of the Appraisal Review Board that we lower the property value to $56,340 and zero out the improvement of $22,630, bringing the total value of the property to $56,340.
Second.
Who seconded?
Seconded.
Which one?
Peggy,
Peggy's on this side? of the
Yes, ma'am.
Kathy? Okay. Sorry, I just don't.
that's okay. We'll get used to it. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
Is Louder on the phone or anything?
Did he call back?
It did not.
He did not call back.
Okay, we can give him one more shot, or, because,
Let me try him again.
yeah, if you can give him one more shot. If he doesn't answer, he's past his time.
Affidavit. and you do it.
So are we will not.
You have
Okay.
to, okay.
So
Go ahead and give
what
it a
would,
shot.
what would the message be? That it's.
I wouldn't leave a message. I personally wouldn't leave a message
Yeah,
if
just
he
see if he
doesn't,
picks up.
yeah.
Okay.
I have the hardest time going back to where I need to be.
This little arrow down at the bottom is my favorite.
Tap on what?
Tap on this. Hit the arrow. And then take it back and keep going back.
You are. As my
This is
husband
getting to a
says, better
supplement
than
in
they are.
2021.
I
Just
don't
so
know
I can
about
change
that.
it. Is that right?
Take a day off anytime.
Just making sure.
Who we on now?
Just hit the green button.
7-1.
Can we take a second to discuss
This
what the
one?
procedures are if someone is late
Stay here just a second.
to it?
Yes,
You want me to get mine?
so for a,
You're okay though.
for a phone hearing. Go through this. Okay, a property owner initiated a protest is entitled to offer evidence or argument by affidavit without personally appearing. To
Want me to write
offer
mine right
evidence or argument at a hearing conducted by telephone conference call, a property owner must submit a written affidavit of evidence before the hearing begins. To be valid, the affidavit must include the name and telephone number of the property owner. Let me know if I'm going into too much detail.
No, what I was concerned about, Scott, is that we have an 8:30 docket. And then how late can Mr. Louder be?
2 hours.
Yeah, well, no, it's if the property owner does not call within 15 minutes of the scheduled time and without notification of the chief appraiser or member of the ARB, up until the scheduled hearing time, has waived his or her right to postponement unless he or she has suffered an accident, illness, or death. Now, we have an affidavit. We can treat it as an affidavit hearing.
Okay,
Since we have evidence, he just hadn't called in.
He did call in. It's an unusual situation. He called in and checked in, gave us the phone number to call him at. And apparently he's not answering now.
Right.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit.
Oh, gosh.
No check.
we got a loophole here.
Well, let's keep this number because
Are we
that's,
Yeah, but I.
We're
Is
sure
that
we have the
the
Do
right
we have
number.
any other
Let
number?
me go check.
Yeah, check the number.
phone numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably sitting at his phone, waiting. No, probably not.
Opportunity for.
yeah, unless we've got the wrong number.
Yeah.
Oh, and does it negate the opportunity to do an affidavit?
Probably. Yeah.
It doesn't.
He hasn't, he wanted a telephone interview and he wasn't available, so therefore, to me, he forfeits that opportunity.
Except he called in.
Yeah, he did
Well,
call.
they had the wrong number, that's a different
Yeah.
story, but he did call in, but now he's not answering the phone, so where has he been?
He could have waited on the phone.
I believe it may have been an incorrect phone number. There's a
Oh, okay.
digit that is off here.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna make the call.
Go ahead.
I've been sitting there waiting.
He said my phone is louder. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Hello. Mr. Louder? Yes, this is the Aransas County Appraisal Review Board calling you back for your protest hearing.
Great, okay,
Okay.
thank you. You give me just a minute. I've been carrying my phone around everywhere. I'm upstairs, so I have to get downstairs. But
That's
it won't
fine.
take me but just-
That's fine.
just something like that.
Not a problem.
All right. You know, I used to be able to run down the stairs. I can't do that anymore.
Some of us appreciate that.
Okay. I can be ready, okay.
Okay, we're opening a hearing on case ID 2021-2302, account number 13479, Michael Louder on Bay House Condominiums, Unit 2207. This hearing is being recorded. And let's verify exactly what is under protest.
The protest is 2525D correction.
Yeah, it looks like incorrect damage assessment and property still not repaired from Harvey.
Finding that, George, if I'm hearing it correct.
I'm actually looking at his evidence, the taxpayer evidence.
His motion, it's a 1/3, but you're also
Well-
indicating it's.
There's probably two different documents. There's
Yeah,
probably a
there are.
2525.
He has other properties still not repaired from Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we are the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. The comptroller's office, I have a number of items to go through before we start, okay?
Okay.
The comptroller's office provides an electronic survey for you to offer feedback about your experience today that may be accessed at the appraisal district office or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. This survey is voluntary. It will also be referenced in the material you get as a result of our findings in this hearing. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with tax code section 41.45H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. This is important. Have you provided all your evidence that you'll be using today?
I think so, yes.
Okay, fine. Just taking a quick peek here. Okay. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing affidavits to that effect. I, Scott Waggart, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Peggy Bird, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F.
I, Ron McCann, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F.
I, Joanne Ferguson, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F.
I request that you solemnly swear affirm the testimony I shall possess the appraisal report for the Aransas County appraisal district is true and correct.
Okay, all testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. I'm assuming that you are under oath as you've signed your and notarized your affidavit.
Okay.
Do you happen to hold a license or certificate from the Texas Appraisers License and Certification Board?
No, sir.
Okay, we're required to ask that question. Do you have a copy of the time limits page that was included with the material that was sent back to you?
I saw it here. Let me see. It's something about 5 minutes. Yeah, hearing protest time.
That's correct. So if you have that, you have the option of choosing whether you present first or whether the district presents first, and you have to make a choice.
Let me just go. I'll do it first.
Okay,
Have 5 minutes and then you'll get other time, as you can see on the procedure time sheet. You can
Okay.
start with 5 minutes.
Well, I own, my wife and I own 2207 Bay House, and we protested the valuation. This property was totally wrecked by Hurricane Harvey, and we had agreements with the appraisal review board that they decreased our valuation to a lower number. They decided that on this one, that it was not totally zero, but it was around $146,000 that we had been doing in previous years. Well, finding somebody to repair the place proved problematic for us, as the company they hired to redo the whole project was not very competent. So, as a matter of fact, they never ever called me to repair it. So I had to go and find my own contractor, which I finally got and agreed to a contract with him in December of 2020. I think I provided that at one point, but we did provide pictures showing you that the whole property has, down to the studs, there's nothing there as of 12/31/20. And I entered the contract in December of 2020 with CAD Lee Construction there in Rockport, and he is just now finished. According to him, he's finished, which I have to get down there in the next week or two to review it to see if he's actually finished or not. As of this date, there's not any furniture in the property. It's not habitable from that standpoint. So that's a recap of the property. We protested this and asked for our value to stay the same at 146,060. Gentleman that works with me talked to a Ray Presley. On May 6th, or we filed the protest on May 6th, and then at some point Ray called us and they discussed the valuation, and they agreed on 179,050. Well, we thought that was done. I mean, that's the way I did it for 2 years before that. I did it over the phone with someone from the appraisal review board. In July or so, there was sent out a valuation that showed the valuation was still at 266 something. And so we started to inquire as to why we didn't get the 179. I'm not real clear why we did not, but we had agreed with Ray over the phone that it was going to be 179,050. So the valuation that was put on it of 266, I found the number 266,920, is more than the 33 that they suggested. The board suggested it was over 33% of the valuation that we could protest that, and so I am. I mean, the property's not habitable. It hasn't been habitable since Harvey. I've been paying taxes, even though it probably the valuation was too high at that point. So I'm requesting that this valuation be reduced. I think it ought to be 146, but I agree with Ray at 179. I'll stand by the 179. And I think I've provided pictures of the property with all the way down to the stud. So I don't know what else you would need for evidence that it's not habitable.
Okay. Are you finished with your evidence, or?
I think so. I think so.
Okay, that's fine. The district now has 5 minutes for cross-examination. I'm sorry, 2 minutes for cross-examination.
I don't have any, I'll just get going here. Just to let the new board members know, I'm just standing up because I want to be closer to the phone. I remember this, actually. Everything that Mr. Louder is saying, I can agree with. I didn't know the guy's name. I didn't know Dennis Reese. He just talked to me as a representative for Mr. Louder. And I do, this 179,050, what that represents, I'm assuming, is me putting the property at 50% complete, which is what we do for gutted condos. It's this thing that we started doing after Hurricane Harvey. And I remember talking to Mr. Reese and telling him this number and him telling me that he needed to talk to Mr. Louder. And I told him that the critical thing is that to make a change, it requires a signature. So every year this will happen to us where the verbal exchange will not be completed by signature. So when that happens, it goes back to the value that it was noticed at because we did not receive a signed settlement statement. The district is looking at these photos and they ring true to what was told to us way back, that this is a gutted condo that was under repair and that we missed it. We had it incorrect as complete. So what I'm willing to go to 179,050. And at this point, the signature is not required because the review board stamps it. So that's my thoughts.
Okay, Mr. Louder, are you comfortable accepting the 179,050 that Mr. Presley just suggested?
Yeah, I said I would stand by that, sure, I'll accept that.
I move we go to
Hang on.
179.
So the 2525D calculation would be 179,050 times 1.33. Just double check. Oh, yeah, okay, I saw 10%, but that's just the label. Okay, which is, it comes out to 238,673, which is less than the appraised value of 266,920. So it meets the criterion. So reducing it to 179,050 is okay.
I'll make a motion regarding case ID 2021-2302, count number 13479, that the protester has proved that the value on the property should be lowered to 179,050, which was previously agreed to by the district and does meet the criteria for a 2025 D correction.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Joanne.
Thank you, Mr. Louder.
Mr. Louder, you understand that? We completed that, your hearing and you're at 179,050.
Okay, so you'll just refund me the check, right? It works its way through,
That's correct, Mr. Louder. It goes in as a supplement where we essentially will break into the certified roll and change that value. And then the tax office, which we are not, the tax office will then pull that data from us periodically and they'll notice the difference and you will be one of the people who get paid back.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
You're welcome.
All right, we're done, right?
We are done. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Right, that's it for the 8:30 docket.
Well, it helps to have the right number, doesn't it?
Sorry.
The other one is the no-shows, and that's it for the 8:30 docket.
Okay.
Who was the no-show? Do you know? I can do that by process of.
I would say, yeah, it's
Is that?
Curtis.
Curtis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now are any of the 10 o'clock ones affidavits?
So I could double check, I'm pretty sure me and Bill just talked about it. You do also have regular business to handle.
Yeah. 925, we got. Well, we've only got a
10
half
o'clock.
hour.
Yeah, it's up to y'all.
There are affidavits or there are people ready to come in.
I believe it's probably people that should be coming in. Yeah. I'm gonna double check real quick.
One of the things that you guys can keep an eye on your tablets is the battery level. If it gets too low, and at this point, you shouldn't have a problem, but you know,
Here on the right hand.
if it gets too low by the end of the day or, you know, mid-afternoon or whatever, we do have power banks that you can use to hook up to
Waiting
the
for
thing.
people to come in.
Sorry?
Sorry, waiting for people to come in.
Okay.
So you guys can do another line item if you want, Scott, or?
Yeah, let's knock off a few of these that I think will be fairly quick.
Okay.
Regular business, yes.
Sure.
Oh, what are we on?
Well, we would be hearing item 2, which is hearings, but let's hang on with that. I think that there's 3, 4, and 6 we can probably cover within a half an hour without
I'll have 3.
citizens to be heard on the agenda. I'm looking at the agenda.
Oh, I don't have anything on the,
The agenda is,
Yeah,
You should have it on your tablet.
yeah, but we can run you a
it should
copy.
say filed agenda.
file.
Yeah, there you go, you're on it.
Yes.
Yeah, number 3 right there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Just hit find the file.
filed agenda, yeah.
Go back one more. Up at the top. And
File agenda. Always amazes me when I find things.
I can guarantee by September, you'll have this thing knocked.
Promise. and-
If not, you promised me a second year.
Oh, you've already got that. The judge has already seen that. There is an item, citizens to be heard. I think that was just.
Do we have anybody
Do we
here,
have
Ben?
Anybody here? Okay. So. And I don't think we need to make a motion on that. Okay, I had distributed the previous meeting minutes
Mm.
in anticipation of trying to knock that out pretty quick. This is from our last meeting on March 22nd. Hopefully you've had a chance to peek at that. They are on there.
Under,
A minute, I got it.
yeah.
Here's a paper copy of the agenda.
Thanks.
So would we like to approve the minutes?
Yeah, that's what we're working on now. So I'll let you guys take a peek at that one more time. Hopefully, again, you had an opportunity to look at it. And let me know, do you see anything that requires corrections or updates?
I move that we accept the minutes as written.
Second time.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, so the previous meeting minutes from March 22nd are approved. I'd like to skip down to the item 6, which is the discussion of possible action on hearing procedures and items related to hearings, including possible setting of a public hearing date.
So it's called hearing procedures on here.
Yes.
Yes. Now, at our last meeting, we distributed a copy of our hearing procedures, and the legislature in 2021 a lot of the changes that they made were administrative as they relate to ARBs. For example, the getting the judge involved in all ARB member selections and so on is an example. One of the things they've done in their infinite wisdom is change the procedures that are involved, that revolve around the ARB procedures. And what I've included, I think, yeah, they're on your tablet, is I just included a couple of pages to guide us through some discussion on this. In the past, the model procedure, the model hearing procedures, which, if you recall, at the back of your education document, of your education manual, they have a copy of the model hearing procedures. If you guys are so would like, I can also send you a link to a PDF copy of that that you can then download and have, you know, on your computer or tablet or whatever. And in the past, the model hearing procedures were just that. The keyword was model, and the ARB was intended to use that as a guideline or a template to create the procedures that were used by a specific ARB. In 2021, the legislature has changed that and tightened it up some, so that the model and the actual ruling is 41.01D, where the appraisal review board shall incorporate the model hearing procedures prepared by the comptroller when adopting the board's procedures for hearings, as required by 41.01C, which I'll get to in a second. An appraisal review board may adopt procedures and supplement the model hearing procedures, provided that the supplemental procedures do not contradict or circumvent the model hearing procedures. So basically, they've said you have to use the model procedures. You can supplement them, you can modify them, as long as they don't contradict or negate anything that's in the model hearing procedures. And the other thing that has to happen is each year the comptroller shall review the hearing procedures adopted by the ARB to determine whether or not they incorporate the model hearing procedures and so on. So that's just a procedural thing where we will send a copy to the state, which I would love to see how they're going to handle 250 some odd copies of hearing procedures coming from ARBs. But anyway, that's where the legislatures don't sometimes think through. Yeah, right. So the key change here is that we have to follow the model procedures, which the good news is we, with minor exceptions, have done that. If you compare our procedures to the model hearing procedures, you'll find almost word for word that it does follow the model hearing procedures. We actually have enhanced it in a couple places where we have plugged in, for example, specific hearing times or times during our hearing for the protester to offer evidence, and then the rebuttals and so on down the line. The one area that we're working through right now, it has to do with the inclusion of allowing video conference hearings, which, while we've had that procedure in place, we have had video conference hearings by Zoom. Our procedures really didn't reflect that, nor did the state in their model hearing procedures. And if you look at the model hearing procedures, even what the state has now, it's not all that specific. So we're going to go a little further beyond that. However, given all that, the Tax Code 5.103C says that we need to hold a public hearing. That's different than a public meeting, which this is a public meeting, but public hearing, and Val, you can probably talk more about than I can in terms of what's required.
Well, yes, it has a longer posting time. Like for this meeting, we have to post 72 hours in advance, and I believe for the hearing, it would be 10 days ahead of time. And we'll need to put it in the newspaper. So those would be two different things.
Do we need to have it, can we have it here, or does it need to be someplace else?
No, it can be here.
Okay. The feeling is that there probably won't be anybody that shows up, but in any case, we need to be prepared for.
I don't think we ever have anybody show up, have we?
Well,
Well, the
Oh, I think
ARB.
one time, a couple of years ago, we did.
They haven't had we haven't had a hearing though, an ARB public hearing
Oh,
such
okay.
as this.
Okay.
I don't believe in the past.
right. So, along the lines of the hearing, the board has to have a public hearing, and that needs to take place at no later than May 15th, the public hearing. And as Val indicated, there are some time constraints where that has to be publicized at least 10 days before the actual public hearing. And we have plenty of time, the bottom line is. So, and then once that public hearing takes place, then there's some things that I have to do to distribute copies of any updated hearing procedures to a whole raft of different people, the board of directors and that type of thing.
What happens at the public hearing?
There can be comment from the public about our hearing procedures and potential,
Oh, so
asking
okay, yeah,
questions.
So we're not doing agendas, we're just waiting to see people show up to ask us questions.
I
Is
think that's the
that correct?
case, yes.
And then I don't know if you would adopt the hearing if that, at the public hearing, if that would be an agenda item. We'll check into that.
Okay, so
It says in here that the board shall hold the hearing, make any amendments to the proposed hearing procedures the board determines are necessary, and by resolution finally adopt the hearing procedures.
Yeah.
So we only do one of those a year.
correct, and that's new. So, and unfortunately, it has to be done every year now, where even if there are no changes to the hearing procedures, we still have to go through that process. The 15th is when we have to have the hearing.
Oh, that day or by?
It has to be at least by the 15th, so we can do it, I think ideally we'd do it, a little bit, maybe a week ahead of time or something like that. And we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so what I'm gonna suggest here is that we have at one of our meetings between, in early May, rather than have a separate meeting, I'll have the updates to, at least the proposed updates that I'll be adding, which again, just revolve around that one section, primarily that one section dealing with video conferences. And we can just go through that, and if you have any other things that you think need to be added or changed or modified in our procedures as it relates to the hearing procedures. And we spent a fair bit of time crawling through our procedures and the model hearing procedures from the state to get a nice warm fuzzy feeling that they are in alignment and so on and so forth. So rather than having a separate meeting to deal with that, I think hopefully it should be short enough to deal with that we can just put it as an agenda item on one of our next scheduled hearings. So if I'm looking at the 15th, and it says the 15th, but actually 15th is on a Saturday or a Sunday, so that would then revert to the 16th as the deadline for our having the public hearing. Val, do you have any suggestions, maybe the 10th or 11th on having the public hearing, or?
Let's see, the 10th, sure. And then you were saying early May for just an agenda item.
Yeah. Now, we don't know yet. The appraisal notices are going out kind of as we speak. I think they're going out this week. And as we've chatted about before, the property owners have 30 days to submit protests. However, somebody may turn around, and I'm sure there will be protests that come in, starting the next day. And there's no reason why we have to wait 30 days before we start having hearings, assuming that some number of protests come in. We just don't know how many they're going to be and when they're going to come in. So we're kind of banking on the fact that that probably starting around the 2nd of May, there will be sufficient number of protests that we could start having protest hearings.
I thought at the last meeting, we determined that it would be the week of the 8th.
Right, because we do have to give 15 days notice to anybody for a hearing. So it will be 15 days out from whatever dates hearings start coming in, protests, sorry.
So you're
Protests
saying we
start
should
coming
plan on potentially starting the week of the 8th or the week of the 2nd or the 1st, rather.
I'm gonna
Or
say
just-
the 8th would be the most realistic,
We
because
talked about
probably
that
the
last
week of
time.
the 18th it would go out.
I have a meeting on here for May the 8th, that we have a meeting
We
scheduled.
canceled that one.
We did? Okay.
In lieu of this one today. I'm gonna write and accomplish everything today.
Yeah, I mean, At least my calendar has May 8th as a Sunday.
Oh, May,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, I'm
May
sorry,
8th
you're
is
talking about the
Sunday.
beginning, right, you're right.
So May 9th is us.
Probably you put that on there as a possible start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This, okay, so it's really been canceled.
Well,
Well,
don't know.
no, we don't know.
No, we don't know.
So let's do this. Let's propose that May 9th, which is a Monday,
Yeah,
would be a potential first start of hearings.
okay.
And let's also propose that irregardless of whether there are sufficient hearings for May 9th, that we deal with the hearing procedures on May 9th.
The public hearing.
That we as a board deal
Oh,
with it, okay?
Okay,
I just want to make sure, that I'm not unilaterally updating procedures without you guys being comfortable with what's going on, okay?
Okay, so we'll basically review them.
Yeah, so we'll send them out,
On
I'll send them
the
out
9th.
ahead of time,
On the 9th.
and we'll review them as a board on the 9th.
Can we still do the public hearing that day?
the 10th or 11th, you said, for the public hearing?
The
No, we
9th.
can't do the public hearing in conjunction with the May 9th meeting.
Wouldn't think so. Y'all will be discussing
Okay.
Protest,
Uh,
procedures.
Here.
the
Yeah.
actual,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and let's suggest the 11th then for a public hearing. And that's the only thing that we'll set for the 11th, will be the public hearing.
At 8:30 usual.
That's fine with me.
8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever.
Yeah, let's make it 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Since it is public.
Rushing to get here.
They won't be up yet.
Yeah,
And we may have nobody show up, right?
that's certainly possible.
What's the public hearing start time?
9 o'clock on the 11th,
Got it.
And then on the 9th, what time?
and we'll do 8:30 on the 9th. And we'll also hope that we have some hearings to deal with, as well as the just you guys passing judgment on any updates to the procedures. It may be a short meeting, it may, it just depends on what we have from a hearing standpoint.
And on the public hearing, how many hours is that? Also here?
I'm here, I'm sorry, right behind
How
you.
many hours are we available for that? All day? Or
No,
just
I
one
don't
day?
think so.
9 to 12?
4
or something
hours.
like that.
And then
Yeah. And if no one comes within 15 minutes, then
We're out of here.
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
yes,
So it wouldn't be any longer
so
than
don't
12
tell too many people.
Well, depending on what
Gonna be on
else
the
we
newspaper.
have going that day, if we do set up some hearings, are you gonna be out part of that day?
No, no, I'm
Okay.
available, so.
Yeah, so we'll just see what happens.
I'm gonna be out part of the May 9th meeting. I have a dental appointment at 11.
Okay.
we may need to come down.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that last night.
Yes.
I can't keep putting it off even though I'd like to.
I believe we have our 10 o'clock hearing ready to go? I don't know if y'all want to take a quick.
Yeah,
break.
let's take a quick break. I show 9:45 right now, so.
A person.
Yeah, so I think we've knocked off the things that well, let's do one more quick one, which is the old business, item 11. If you recall from our March 22nd meeting, we had a letter that was read from a lady about property, a GLO property. And it was suggested that I reach out to our lawyer to determine what kind of actions we could potentially take. She did not fill out the 2525D that was requested. And again, recognize that this is not a decision on the merits of the case. It's a decision on whether or not we should even hear a case. I have reached out to our lawyer, and he's in the midst of moving his office and a bunch of other things. So I have not received a response. So we're just going to leave that tabled until at least our next meeting. And I'll make a point to make sure that I do get some resolution from the attorney between now and then. Okay, I don't think that requires any motion. We're just leaving the tabled motion in place. Okay, so let's take a quick break.
Oh, feels good to stand.
I hate that they put all this candy in here, because then I feel compelled to eat it. Exactly. My house is pretty much clear of candy. I don't have any candy in my house. Cause I will eat it. Uh-huh. And it doesn't have to be the good stuff. No, anything, yeah.
She usually makes it.
I actually like.
And she's good?
Yeah.
She's not.
I haven't tried that. It's good. Much better before. And you can break your teeth. But it's also oh, no, then we're not doing that.
What's that?
I like one crown this year.
Oh, yeah.
The
last time-
Really quick. Right, tastes better cold.
I ate sugar babies, is it?
We're over for the babies, yeah.
Pulled off a crown
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah,
so
yeah.
sticky.
Yeah.
And I haven't eaten one since. It's no fun doing that.
Well, somebody gave me one of those beautiful gift packs of different kinds of nuts,
Mm.
and I cracked a tooth and lost the filling, and then,
Had to get a crown and.
oh, and before
Root
that, it had to have a, root canal, and then they had to put a post down the center to protect it, and
Yeah.
just a box of nuts, Yeah, so no more nuts, and it's like,
That happened to my husband. We were in New Mexico, I think it was. Health Bed Can. And we stopped at this little convenience store and bought some bubble gum.
oh, God.
And it was so hard. He bit into it and he broke his tooth and had to have a crown. And it was like, that was the most expensive 5 cents we've ever spent.
Yeah, my part of it was over $2,000.
Oh, yeah.
But that's my trip.
I know.
And it's always when you're out of state.
Oh, of course.
Never
For a
when you
weekend when you can't get the dentist.
Mhm.
Oh.
Oh, we have person, a live person.
Peggy, it was you that had the dentist appointment at 11?
Yes, at 11. I will be here for the meeting, but I'll have to excuse myself to leave at about 10:30, I guess. It's here in Rockport, so.
But at some point, can we talk about when people might be taking vacations? Because I am going to be taking a vacation during the process.
I'm taking a vacation.
I can do it any time, so I just want to make sure.
September.
When you leave.
Hmm?
Do you have plans?
Yeah, I'm trying to, these tickets are from 2 years ago and I'm trying to use them up before they,
Turn into pumpkins.
so we changed the place I'm going, you know.
I don't know, like if two of us not time at the same time.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I'll be going the first week in October. Surely we'll be
Oh, we'll
done
be
by
done,
then.
we'll be
If we're
done.
not,
We hope.
Yeah, it's the middle of September. I'm hoping there won't be.
I should put these something.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing some people get in.
I do.
I don't leave till the 17th of September.
gosh, I hope so, because if we're still doing this, I'm gonna have to think twice about it. I'm kidding.
Well, you know, the way things are going in Europe, because we were going to, my friend and I were going to Portugal and if,
Oh,
you know, who knows what's going
Well,
on
that's true.
by then over there.
We're supposed to go on a Mediterranean cruise and
Well, the other trip was to Bali and it's still not open. Bali.
Oh,
Oh.
2 years ago, when this whole thing started, it was the trip of the life, not the
Oh, yeah.
lifetime, because
Yeah.
we've done those, but yeah, but
I put off a cruise for beginning of the pandemic and then I think they gave me a year and then I've got that changed and then I had until October 2023.
yeah, that's it. We had to make a reservation or we were going to lose all our money. It's just
well, we're going to Italy, and so we're flying from here to Venice. But then we get on a cruise ship, so
When is that supposed to be?
in October. Yeah,
yeah.
I think about hopefully.
gosh, I hope so. It's time.
The flight will be okay. It's a cruise.
The flight will be- That's right. It's the cruise when we get
Well,
to
you
Italy.
know,
who
but you
knows?
worry, yeah, it's just, you know,
Does it go like to the Greek islands?
It does, yeah.
Oh, how
That's great.
neat.
I've been to the Greek islands.
Have you? Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, we've canceled a couple of trips because of the pandemic, you know, California was one of them. It was pretty much over, but we're like, you know, what if we get sick in California? We don't know anyone there. In the hospital, I don't even know one, so we just put it off. So when this trip came up, it's like, let's do it. We're tired of just.
Well, the cruise lines just are cruising. It's just.
Yeah, they are.
They are. Not having heard too many horror stories. You know, as we didn't.
I try not to listen.
We got stuck at sea for 2 weeks. So we went to
I know
another
it.
place, so.
I know it. I don't even watch the news anymore. Honestly, I don't. I watch the local news and for the weather and even that's kind
and
of.
some of that's getting.
Some of that is like, oh,
It's way too depressing.
really?
Yeah.
Just, you know, that's terrible. It's terrible. Like who's doing what
Well,
now?
I think it would be interesting to see what happens with Abbott and sending these busloads.
Oh,
Yeah.
To
goodness.
Washington DC.
Oh, my
I hope it
goodness.
works. I think he's doing the right thing, but that's my opinion.
I gotta see that.
Hmm?
I said, I don't know if that's gonna work, but
I think we could try.
you think it will?
And what can they do? I mean, you can fix the buses.
Let them deal with them.
Hmm?
Let them deal with it.
Right, well, he hits the buses over
We're
there.
tired of paying the foot bill down here.
Yeah, that's poor rural Mexican town. Poor
I mean,
anyway.
I feel bad for the
Oh,
people,
Oh, the ranchers and
but ranchers can't go out of the house unless they're fully armed,
yeah.
So-
you know? Well, hell, I don't go out of my house with them fully armed.
As they say, they're coming to a neighborhood near you.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think they said that it was unconstitutional, though.
Yeah,
Where-
where-
only if they don't want to go.
You think they
Yeah,
wanna go?
They don't wanna go.
They ain't got no choice. They're so scared when they get here. They're not gonna say
Well,
no.
they're putting them on planes and buses.
And they don't.
They don't know where they're
They
going.
don't know what's going on.
What's gonna happen when they
Wait
get
at
there?
San Antonio Airport, get them off the plane, and put them on a bus.
They're like, yippee, we're going to Washington.
Your trip's a little longer. than
Always
you thought.
wanted to go to
There you
Washington.
go. They dropped you off at the White House.
On the lawn, huh?
Yeah, nice. You know, but you look at the pictures and it's not family now, it's, you know, younger males coming in.
Yeah, 'cause there are some single female,
Yeah.
mostly younger males.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of families where I was.
Coffee is ready.
My good friend is a state
The
patrol.
coffee.
Oh, I think they were making
GPS.
some more.
They have to go down there and spend a week at a time. He said it's awful.
Morning, after, morning, yeah.
All the way back.
Okay, what do I do with this?
Oh,
It did that by itself.
Go to the
I
10
did not
o'clock
do
docket.
it. I always
This is
said
Ms. Cross.
rethinking computers.
The account number is 56291. Case number 2021-2301.
I hope the document.
We're on the 10 o'clock docket.
This is very close.
Yes. Sure.
What was the 10 o'clock docket?
Yeah, what was the number?
Oh, I'm sorry, 2301.
Oh, one.
2301, yes.
It's not on there. I'm not putting it on top.
It's 2301.
Yes, yes. That's okay.
And this is your evidence that you sent.
Oh, can I see what else?
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready? Okay, we're commencing a hearing on case ID 2021-2301, account number 56291. Sherry Cross is the property owner. And this is on Lago Vista Village, lot 56R. Verify exactly what's being protested.
Protest is 2525 D correction.
Okay. We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. So the five of us around the table are the ARB, Mr. Presley, Ray in the back there is from the district, Beth and Jackie helping us here. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using the survey form and emailed to ptad.communications@cpa.texas.gov, or you can complete the survey online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. And the survey is voluntary. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. Tax Code Section 41.45H states that all written material or evidence that has not been provided must be provided at this time. Do we have all of your evidence at this time? Okay, great. Excellent. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Peggy Bird, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 4166F.
I, Ron McCann, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F.
I, Joanne Ferguson, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F.
Sharon, just read it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, good luck with that, classes. I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct. Sherry Cross.
I, Ray Presley, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Okay, in front of you on the table there is a page that shows the hearing procedure times.
Okay, all right.
That's also right here.
Okay.
So you get to choose whether or not you go first or the district goes first. And the state says you have to make the choice.
The district can go first.
Okay, fine. And we'll start in a second. Do you hold a license or certificate from the Texas Appraisers Licensing and Certification Board?
No, but I am a Texas realtor.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Just need to ask. Okay, so I'm sorry, you said the district should go first? Or you?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
All right, Ray, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, Lago Vista is off of 1781, really kind of near the intersection of 1781 and 3036, just right in that general area. And the streets go back towards Salt Lake area. They don't get to Salt Lake, they just go that direction. We're looking at a double wide mobile home on 106 Lago Vista. And this property, one of the things that I'm gonna try to jump in front of real quick here is if you look at the sales grid, you'll see that we prove a median value of $98,000 and we have a market value of $56,000, which would be saying that the appraisal district is $40,000 low on this property using comps that are from Lago Vista. So the comps are really solid. They're on the same street. There's one comp on Copano Cove Road, on a wet lot on Copano Cove Road. It's almost the lowest comp, second to the lowest comp. If it was thrown out, if you threw the Copano Cove, it actually helps the grid. If it was thrown out, the median value wouldn't have been 98,245. The median value would have been 122,796, which would have showed us being $60-something thousand low. Equity value is $63,000 and change. These are all comps, Lago Vista, and then Janasek. Janasec's a good comp for Lago Vista. It's not a problem. And then one on speckled trout that is an okay comp. It helps pull that value down. In either case, the appraisal district's value is below the median. However, I've looked through the photos. So the photos in taxpayer evidence show a damaged home. When you scroll through these photos, the home has some issues that we'll need to.
I'll address them when we're ready.
Yes, ma'am. So what I'd like to do is just stop. I'll stop. I'm done, and let's go. Let's move on and talk more about the damage.
Okay.
Or let Ms. Cross. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hold on just 1 second. I'm having trouble with my thinking. Got it. Okay, Sheree, you have 2 minutes to cross-examine, and then you'll get 5 minutes for your presentation, so I'll give you 7 minutes.
Okay. I'm not able to get back into this, sorry. I know.
Oh,
What's
it's,
going
yeah,
on.
welcome.
I may not be able to. Let me see. Maybe it's there. Wow, that sounds. Oh my goodness.
I'll tell Beth to come in.
Yeah, go tell that because I don't
Okay. But
have a clue how you.
so in reference to the comps, I can speak a little bit to that. Okay, thank you. I for some reason misplaced what I ran, but I looked at other people on our street, and I know that street intimately because this used to be my dad's house. He has since passed away, and so I purchased it from my siblings, and so the other homes that I look at that are livable and in much better condition are appraised a lot lower.
Oh,
And there could be reasons. Not sure what they are, but I saw that the values were really low, and I've actually sold 4 homes on that street. As a realtor, I currently work for Rockport Properties. And so, basically I've seen other homes that are valued at a lot lower. Randy Wells would be one of them, who I think his is appraised at 30,000 or something, and that's probably a $250,000 home. I've looked at a couple of the others just to kind of see, just to make sure it's all fair. But what happened is that, can I go ahead and share my information now?
Sure.
Okay. So that street was devastated by Hurricane Harvey. At the time, my dad was in a nursing home in San Antonio, so it was unlivable for him. So we moved him, and so the house continued to deteriorate over the years, and nothing was done to maintain the inside. And so I ended up purchasing it from my siblings, which wasn't an easy task, but I wanted to keep it. And so we kind of prettied up the outside just to kind of keep it, maintained for the street. But you can see from the inside that there's a lot of work involved in it. And so that's the only reason that I come before you today, is to say, with COVID and everything that was happening, it's taken a lot of extra effort and money, and I didn't live here full time. And we've worked on a lot of it, but this is what you can see that we had to get to get it to be livable. The roof, a tree fell on it. The decking was all damaged. You can see from the pictures. The living room had a big hole in it that had to be repaired. So there's a lot of money that's gone into it to get it livable. We're still working on it. I have folks. I've been trying to schedule them to come do the tie downs. They're not sufficient. The house is so old that it's hard to insure it right now, because a lot of insurance companies, because of the age, don't want to insure it. So I'm dealing with that. And then the piping and stuff underneath, we've had problems with the sewer, so. And then to top it all off, coastal breeze behind us, they built up even more, and the last rain, it flooded the whole backyard. And so that's a concern for me too, is the drainage there. So I've been talking to them at Coastal Breeze, trying to get some help, because with all the new concrete and all the new stuff, and the drain, it just drains right into our backyard and floods it. And so just trying to get some of that stuff done, sorry, so that we can get the house to where it's, comfortable, and not worry the next time it rains. And so there's been a lot of issues with trying to get everything repaired. There's people aren't available like they used to be. I've had Burke come out twice, and I still think as of today, don't have a good quote from them to get the tie downs done. And it's kind of burrowed into the ground. So it's even more difficult because they have to like dig out the dirt to get to it. And I think during the hurricane, the house kind of lifted and turned a little bit. And so there's some issues with getting it stable there. But we're working on all that, but I'm just asking for a little more help in getting it to that point, because the value on the outside may say one thing, but the value, on the inside doesn't really reflect that.
Okay, you have 2 more minutes if you want to.
I don't know that I have anything else to say on that, and it's just trying to get it insurable, and making sure that I'm able to get all the work done so that I can do that. So.
Are these pictures from, when are they from?
I took these pictures, what was it, in like October, November, yeah.
Okay, so it looked like this on January 1.
No, some of it has been done now, yeah. I mean,
January 1.
January 1, 2021.
2021, yeah. Let me
2021,
get something from my notes, sorry.
Should
Should
I
I
do
do that? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, just happen to have them.
Yeah,
These were prior to January 2021. These
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah,
So it looked like
no,
this on-
these were still some of 2021, yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of the work ourselves, but there's still stuff I have to have people come in and do, and so I talked to the Burke family this morning, hopefully they'll get it done by next.
You live in this house a little bit.
It's livable now,
It is
yes,
livable now.
yes. I mean, with the exception of, some basic things that we're trying to get done, but all the electrical work, the whole house, I mean, there would have to be like 50 of them. to do. Everything was
the
burnt
house
out.
livable on January 1 of 2021.
Of 2021, I can't remember, I'll be honest with you. I've been back and forth, other than Katie, and then I come here, and so. It's okay, I can't remember, I'd have to go to my camera phone and see exactly when these were taken. Yeah.
That would have been a year and a half ago almost.
I mean, yes, there were some rooms that were, yes. Uh-huh. Yes, and we're still, but yes, it's definitely different today. Yeah.
All right, Ray, you have this presentation, 5 minutes and 5 minutes.
Yeah, just a couple of things here, just sometimes it's good with this steps to make sure, have you done this before? Protests?
No.
Okay, so just to be completely clear, I'm the appraiser in the room.
Right,
I work for the appraisal
Uh-huh.
district. And this is the appraisal review board. These are not appraisers. They're like a jury kind of.
Sure.
That's probably maybe the easiest way to think of it. They're listening to us and I'm supposed to talk directly to them, but I'm not right now. I'm talking to you. The 2525B is what you're here under, which 2525B says that you can protest late, but the change has to be 1/3 incorrect. And that's the way that the state keeps everybody from protesting late. Because if not, everybody.
No, I know, because it got mailed to my Katie.
It would just run crazy. Yes, ma'am. So there is a stipulation in the property tax code to handle this, but it does have a greater requirement
Sure.
of being a third incorrect. And which is, in my opinion, the problem here is that your value is not a third incorrect, in my opinion. It's also my opinion that in this county, if you put this thing for sale for $56,000, you'd sell it today.
Well, today, but you wouldn't have 2 years ago when I purchased
It would be
it.
my opinion that you would. That would be my opinion in watching things that sell.
Because it's uninsurable, and I've already talked to the insurance companies, you can't get the wind insurance on it.
Yeah.
And because of the age of it, and then it doesn't have the tie downs, and then in addition to that, they'd have to pay cash, somebody would have to pay cash.
I understand. It's just, I'm just letting you know, like, from my opinion,
Uh-huh.
all of that would just happen. Is that somebody would just buy this thing, they would do some work to it, and they would rent it, and they would be happy. Because they would be able to get a pretty good amount of rent. in
But
this
can you
county.
rent without insurance?
I think people do all the time.
Okay, because I've called Allstate.
Well, but you're probably trying to do it on the up and up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I understand.
Right.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, from appraisal, I have property tax code holding me on one side, and then I have my head saying on the other that even in a damaged state, this is $56,000. That's, and just so the board knows, that's the district's opinion, that's the district's closing, and as always, the district is comfortable turning it over to you guys.
Can I have one last
You do,
word?
yes.
Are you for it?
I'm done, I'm done.
done.
I already did.
He went first.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, you
Yeah.
did, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So when my dad purchased this piece of property, unbeknownst to me, when I decided to buy it, until I decided to buy it, did I realize that this property actually expanded over to 102 Lago Vista. And then they subdivided it, and now the house is like right on the line. I mean, it is right on the line, it's scary on the line. And
you can kind of see that in this photo
Right.
or evidence. You're
Yeah.
talking about the house.
right, yeah,
To
so the
what
lot
is that,
on the
the
corner.
west
Yeah.
side of the property maybe?
Right.
or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It encroaches. huh?
Yeah, and so the person that sold it to him, I guess at that time thought, oh, we'll make 2 out of this, but it was originally planned to be 1 lot. And so it was gifted to a lady named Martha, and I've talked to her about it. She's tried to list it for sale at some ungodly amount. And she's done it for the last, I don't know, several years. It comes on and goes off, because she always over, she just thinks it's worth, so much. Well, now it's probably worth less just because the coastal RV park now is right there in her backyard too. And it's on now what's become a busy intersection, and busy, I mean, it is loud at night. And so the noise level has increased tremendously in the past year. It is just crazy. I'm not sure if anybody would want to be sitting on that corner. The traffic is just crazy right there with big trucks, and it's just a whole different corner. And so anyway, so now it's kind of even changed up just a bit, because now it's like this lot there, now it floods a whole lot. I'm having dirt hauled in the backyard to try to get it level enough because of the way the RV park came into it. So, I'm asking for some concession. I know that, Ray, when we talked about it initially, when you did it, when I first bought it, that I just didn't expect it to double the next year. I guess I wasn't really prepared for that. I have paid the taxes, but if there's any way I could get some help to get it to where it's insurable, and just some assistance. And again, with COVID, everything just kind of changed as far as availability and resources and money to do it. So that's all I have.
Right, you have 2 minutes. I'm sorry, you have 1 minute for closing.
It's the district's opinion that the appraisal opinion is that the $56,000 is right. We agree that there's probably water issues, flooding, that there's a property line issue. We agree that it stinks for your value to go up so much in 1 year. But if your property is a non-homesteaded property, you don't have protection from increase. And one of the things about this office is we double people's property all the time. And it's just
Well, I
a
don't
hot
think
place
it's,
to be.
oh,
It's okay, it's just,
doesn't look consistent on the street, that's what I pulled everybody's, it
it's
doesn't
an,
appear consistent.
yeah, we've raised property values over every year, you know, everybody knows, right? It just keeps
Right.
going up and
Oh,
up
I
and up, and we're all kind of wrestling with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, people have an opinion about it, but our opinion is 56 is correct.
Okay, sure, you have 1 minute for closing.
I have probably nothing else to say.
We have 5 minutes to discuss.
Yeah, what I took a whack at the adjustments. Currently got 57%. I cut that in half pretty much. In fact, I made it a third, 0.3. And that brought the improvements down to 14,740, almost about twice what they were previously. And unfortunately, when I apply the 2525D calculation, it doesn't meet the criteria. So I guess, you know, at this point, we can discuss what, if any, the improvements should be adjusted or not. Guys got any other?
I think the
thoughts?
land value is probably fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's about what they're running in those lots.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you say everything is fine now, not fine, but it's livable, but I guess what I was trying to find out is how much of the improvements have been completed on January 1, 2021. So did it look like this on January 2021 or any time prior to that? Well, prior to that, obviously it did. But
Oh, yeah,
how
yeah,
much-
it's still,
How much was
yeah,
completed
yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
2021? So
Yeah.
livable 2021, so these are prior.
There was
to-
one room that was livable in 2021, and I wasn't living here full time, but now I've joined Rockport
When you say
Properties.
livable,
So
was there water or air conditioning?
there was
bathrooms
still holes in the ceiling and that were being patched and repaired, and we had to put all new the paint stuff that you put in the insulation. Yeah, had to insulate the whole house. I mean, there's just been
What percent
electrical
complete do you
wiring.
think it was on January 24th?
Let me see if I can look at my phone and recall the date that those pictures were taken of that house. Maybe a third when we just started working on the kitchen and stuff.
Sorry?
You already.
Yeah, well, and again, my calculation was about third, so Peggy, you got anything? So you want-
No, I'm agreeing with the district on this one.
Hit the 14,740.
That was the adjustment on the improvements, yeah.
Based on.
49,130, and I applied a third of that.
Okay, so you say even if we reduced it to 14,740, it still wouldn't meet the.
Well, yeah, right, 14,740 plus 28. 130. Okay, that comes out to 42,870. And applying the 2525D, 1/3 over for a non-homestead, 1.33. That comes out to 57. 57, 017, 5720. So, and that's just slightly over the appraised value.
Yeah.
And let's. This prior value, the 33,340 is from 2020? Okay, okay, yeah. So unfortunately, I don't think, even if you accept my 1/3 thing, then just barely doesn't meet the criteria. Which the only option, again, since it was a late filing,
I know.
that was our only option, is to apply that formula. Are we okay with leaving it the way it is there? Yes, since it doesn't meet the criteria.
Yes,
Unfortunately.
unfortunately,
Next year,
yes.
another year.
Yep.
So
That's all we can say.
we need to be more.
Sure.
Okay, well, make a motion on case ID number 2021-2301, count number 56291. Based on the evidence presented by the district and by the protester, we have found that the property does not meet the 2525D correction classification, and therefore the value needs to remain at what it's assessed at 56,140.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay, this hearing is closed. You'll receive some documentation about the determination.
You understand the 2525D, the 1/3, did you understand that? It had to be, okay.
Sherry, thank you.
sorry.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
If you would raise the chair up for 1 second and put this. This is a funky tablet.
Uh-oh.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, if
Use
you,
this one then, maybe.
Does it
well,
keep-
that's mine. That's the one I was using.
Does it keep opening and closing?
No, the problem is that once it kept going back to the main screen, to the home screen.
Yes,
And
that's what this one's doing.
I had that happen too. Mine froze for a second.
yeah, and I even closed
Yes.
all the applications and
Mine
blah,
been
blah.
fine.
Mine's fine.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to use it, but it's fine.
And you'll notice mine has my name.
Remember the back button.
I know it, I
That'll
keep
get
saying.
you out of trouble.
It's the back button at the top, not the bottom.
Hit the one at the
The
bottom.
bottom too, but then,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's
Yeah,
like,
because sometimes the top one isn't there.
Hit the top one, it's taking you all the way back.
but I know how to go from, if I'm there, I know how to get documents and then it goes back.
Yeah, we got one more.
One more?
Yeah,
Ooh,
one
this
more,
is,
but I think one- see the two people.
Two?
Put it out there.
Are they
At
out
least two.
there?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Let's see here. Man, that house encroaches on them.
Is that county or city?
Yeah.
It's county, and they have, there's not that 5 foot.
It's actually city.
It is, it's city?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Ooh.
But still, it's like,
Like right on the line.
yeah, it crosses the line.
Well, the pictometry is.
It's not exact.
Yeah, it's not exact.
Yeah, it's not exact.
It's a little bit of.
Well, that's true, yeah, it's almost like, wow.
But it's darn close.
It's close, yeah. It seems to be the problem.
I found one.
I know, now I said they're all gone. I don't know. I already had two.
You're encouraging everyone to eat, so there's none left.
I see.
Getting the next one to go.
Okay.
What number will that be? Never mind.
Why do we have to ask the hard questions?
I think they made me hot.
Yeah, they made a new pot,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'll be 8 cup of coffee or something.
I had some, but I put too much stevia in it.
Who's that stuff? I tried some of that. Could not get the taste out of my.
That's
mouth
what I'm
after.
dealing
Oh,
with now.
yeah.
Maybe I need a candy. Yeah, that's a good reason.
Where's the sticker? Where's the sticker for?
You want Snickers?
No. I'm just
Because
saying.
I'm not
Okay, well,
a Snicker.
I like the M&Ms.
No M&Ms.
We ate those last time.
Yes. No M&Ms.
Oh, this is.
Yeah, it's chocolate and peanut butter. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have to work this afternoon.
I think we'll wrap all this up.
Oh, yeah, when there's nobody after 10 o'clock.
I don't think there's an afternoon Dunkin'. I think it's just the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty soon we'll be hanging out all day.
Yeah.
I was just for a little while.
It's tough.
Long enough.
Even another week.
I'm working on it.
Last year, we had tremendous number of adoptions. More than my previous years. And there was a lot.
Probably say 60-70%. Yeah. And there's no telling why. Whether people were still scared of COVID or just decided.
So when COVID was really bad, we all stayed home and did it by Zoom, so
That was interesting.
that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we wore masks when we came in, if we did come in, but.
They're working on a couple of accounts to make sure they're set up correctly before they come in. So whoever gets the account set up first will
People, are
will
they
be the
here?
first one in. We've got 2 people out there. I'm assuming we have, I don't know who we have out there. We have maybe Garza is out there, and there's somebody in here that has 2 accounts.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. who's out
Yeah,
there.
ratio.
Ratios, I wonder.
There's also something here called Matador Land and Marine. I'm not sure if they're out there.
That's a BPP.
Okay,
I think it's okay.
okay, as in
Like,
it's done?
it's gonna be good just to supplement.
Oh, okay.
It was, I don't know what happened, it was settled and they sent paperwork late to me, so.
Okay.
That they sold the boat and I believe we agreed.
Okay.
How can there be a protest since it's zero value?
Well, it's closed now,
Oh,
but it wasn't closed.
so we're basically.
Because I was waiting, I don't know, but I was waiting on paperwork
Oh,
from the sale, like the one from the Parks and Wildlife and the tags and all that stuff. So we ended up getting all this stuff. And they definitely did not own it
so we're not gonna.
in that year. I don't know. If you do hear it, I'm not gonna change. We're not gonna change the value. You have to do the supplement, so. Or the value will have to be done a different way. because it's actually 2020. Not 2021. So it just needs to be closed in 2020. That's the issue, I believe.
All right, this is case number 2312. This is Deborah Garcia. And,
Douglas Meadow.
Douglas Meadow.
So where are we?
You're gonna.
Oh, well,
go in
that's
here.
not.
This is the BBB account,
Yes.
Yeah,
Jackie, you were killing.
no, this is done. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna,
Okay, this is have a seat, honey.
I'm not sworn in, so I'm not gonna say anything.
2313.
If
One,
you'd like
two.
to swear in,
Oh,
I
one,
can-
two.
Ostensibly.
This is the one
On the top of
It was in
page 3.
It's me. This is where Oh, right.
You want to sign in?
No, I don't. Right.
Yeah.
Minute.
Huh?
Hold on.
We're ready, Scott.
Okay. Okay, we're commencing a hearing on case ID 2021-2312, account number 52444. This is Medor Land and Marine Inc., Cove Harbor.
Under images.
See if we can find what is under protest.
Under protest is
This is a property owner's motion
motion for
for correction.
correction of appraisal.
So it's like a chief appraiser motion, but by the property owner.
Okay,
Which just really qualifies as other.
get that right?
Yes.
Okay. So we are the appraisal review board that will be, and I have some stuff to go through first. We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing the protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using the survey form and emailed to ptad.communications@cpa.texas.gov, or you can complete it online at surveymonkey.com/r/survey-ARB. And the survey is voluntary. This all is included in the information that will be provided to you after our determination. You have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with Tax Code Section 41.45H, all written material and evidence that has not been provided must be provided at this time. So this is important. Do we have all of your evidence?
Yes, we do, yes.
Okay, great. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect.
And this is for the 2020 year.
I, Scott Waggart, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with a person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Peyton Bird, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 4166F.
I, Ron McCann, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F.
I, Joanne Ferguson, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F.
So all testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. So at this time, we'll need you to swear in.
You will read this aloud and state your name.
I solemnly swear or affirm that testimony that I shall present to the appraisal review board, Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
And will you state your name?
My name is Douglas Meadow.
and then you can go ahead and do the same.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct. My name is Deborah R. Garcia.
Okay.
I solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Okay, do either of you hold a license or certificate from the Texas Appraisers Licensing and Certification Board?
No.
Okay, great. All right, in front of you on the table is the hearing procedure times. And you have the honor of being able to choose whether you present first or the district presents first. This is a choice that you have to make, the governor says so. Would you like to go first or would you like the district?
I'd like to go first. First of all, may I put my name on the record and introduce my husband? My name is Deborah Garcia.
Okay.
I am an attorney, but this is my husband, Douglas J. Metter. And we are married and we both live here on the property where the boat was parked at one time. And
We'll get to the rest of that in a second.
okay,
So are you saying you'd like to go first?
yes, I did say that, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had something else you wanted to say. So are
Yeah,
you
you
done?
said-
You're done?
Yes.
I'm done, so
Okay.
they.
All right, I'm
they can
sorry
start.
to interrupt.
That's
you.
okay,
Go
I
ahead,
understand the
continue.
process, been through this before.
You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, thank you. And so my husband is was the owner of what we call the Drake B boat. It was parked on our premises. We do have another boat there, but we're paying those taxes. It's called the Scotty M. The boat was sold in 2019, and I have not, this hasn't been marked as an exhibit, but it was sold in March the 11th of 2019. And the boat was sold to the owners of Red Dot Pier in Corpus Christi. And they have, at that time that it was sold, they did ask for a certificate for the vessel. And they did receive it. So in the packet of information, I have all the most current one is this for the 2023. And so Nueces County is charging them for the taxes. And then we're also getting charged. So we've been doing this. There's a string of emails that I contacted the law firm that collects on these matters, Lindbergh and blah, blah, blah. Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody knows them as the collection law firm in Nueces County. And so I have had several emails with them, exchanges indicating when the boat was sold. And then we have proof of that. Ed Salazar and Jana Salazar are the owners of Red Dot Pier. We just happen to be very good friends with them and they needed the boat at the pier. So it was sold. My husband fixed it up and it was sold. And so since that time, we have been taxed 2019, 2020, and we've been paying. The last time I came in here, I spoke with the employees here, the director, I think it may have been this individual, this gentleman here. So that's when we followed up with having a hearing and exercising our rights so that we could get this straight.
Okay.
So that's really it. We're asking that you remove us from the taxes and transfer it over to Nueces County. It's been transferred over to Nueces County since 2019. And I've tried, like I said, I've tried that with the Lindbergh law firm and they have everything. I've spoken to Jackie and so here we are.
Right, anything else you want to add?
Is there anything else you want to add, honey?
That's all. Good enough.
That's it? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ray, you have 2 minutes to cross-examine and 5 minutes for presentation, so 7 minutes.
Jackie, when was this account closed?
It was closed May 7th, 21. Emails back and forth.
May 7th of 21?
Yes.
May 7. 2021.
Right. I'm not, I think,
Okay, so can you look at, I don't have access to this right here. So Jackie, can you look at tax due?
there's no taxes due.
There's no tax due. When was the last time you guys paid taxes?
I believe I paid $91. Was it this year? When are the taxes due? December?
They're due on January 1st.
Yeah, and I came in and paid them. I
I
came in and I paid them.
So you paid taxes for the year of 2020,
2020.
right?
Yes, and because I was told I had to pay the taxes first and then exercise my hearing rights.
2021.
So it would have been 21.
21.
Recently,
we
this year,
just-
it's for 22,
yeah.
so it was
Right.
2021.
You
Yeah, it was
paid
$90.
2021?
2020.
Jackie,
I don't have it with me.
Jackie, can you check the events?
I did. I'm in events and
And
I'm
tell
in
me-
the collection side of it. A tax statement was sent out in 2020. I don't show a statement sent in 2021.
Yeah, because here we were.
Because I would have
again.
closed it before, well, I would have closed it, if it was closed in May, notices don't go out until right around that time.
No,
That's true. It would have been 20.
Because
Yeah.
I-
So
we
that's
signed
what
this
I'm
May
thinking.
20.
We wasn't assessed
I think it was
this year. I
closed
didn't get a
before.
tax bill for this
that's
year.
what I'm thinking, is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
this is, that you guys paid in 2020,
Yeah.
but in 2021, the account was closed.
I'm
And
not
it,
showing that, we still,
well,
maybe it was.
but right there, May 4, it was signed May 4, 21. So we would have closed the account before the bill was sent out at least, which would have been sent out in
Yeah.
September or October.
This shows
Because it
May
goes a year.
7th.
Huh?
This shows May 7th of 21.
That it was closed.
deleted.
So we got this document, it was closed. So what that means, as we think back in time, is that 2021, there was not a bill. And then 2020, there was, but that the boat was sold in 2019.
And we're always a year behind,
So,
right?
so you didn't own the boat on 1/1/2020.
But you pay taxes on it.
We did because, well, that I did what we were supposed to do. We pay, here it is.
I don't,
9504, that was in December 2021. So I came in and we did the paperwork again. I paid the 9504 and then I asked for a hearing.
I can't see how much she paid. I can see what her bill was. I can call the tax office and get verification. I can't see anything.
I
She's got a
don't feel
document, I
like,
think.
I'm not 100% sure that this board is gonna be able to make a decision here, because it feels like there's gonna be missing information. Plus, we're not talking about 21, we're talking about 20.
Mhm.
So let me think about this. I don't think that there's anything in here for us to dispute. I mean, I don't see something in here that I'm like, hey, this raises a red flag. Everything's adding up. We received a closure form dated 5/4/21. We have a software record that it was closed 5/7/21. All of that makes perfect sense to me. And then that it also makes sense to me that it was sold in 19, but we didn't know it was sold in 19. And so therefore a bill went out in 20 and that the homeowner paid that bill. That all of this is just making perfect sense. I don't know that the board has authority to do anything here. We're talking about the year of 2020.
Because it's closed.
It's currently closed.
Well, then wouldn't they be entitled to get their money back?
Well, that would be like Jackie, Jackie, you need to swear in. You need to just swear in.
Okay.
I, Jackie Pena,
I, Jackie Pena,
do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
What's the wording?
That I
and
know.
affirm
Swear and affirm.
That's right.
I,
That's not
Jackie
it.
Pena, do solemnly swear.
That's not it,
No,
Jack.
that's not it.
We just gotta get you sworn in.
Goodness.
That's what I just did.
Well, that's y'all
For
swear
us,
in.
yeah.
That's for the.
Just get back,
Oh.
just get back. And Jackie, you need to swear
Okay.
in. Jackie is our BPP appraiser.
Okay.
So
PPP.
business personal property.
Okay.
And that's what a vote is.
Yes.
So
I had to go with the fact, or
I'll be back on.
optometry for a minute. So if you can
Already
use your-
did.
Do you use your own?
No, you kicked me out and I got back in.
Can you use your own?
she probably doesn't know her password.
Ah. Okay, then use mine, use mine.
It's okay.
We don't need it
I
right
mean,
now. We're on a BPP account.
Ah, good,
So we're good without it.
okay.
Oh, wait, here it is. No, it's okay. I got it. Mine's saved in here.
If we could just take a second to get Jackie sworn in, guys. It's
Yeah,
it's
and
bad.
Beth or Val are coming in.
This one's a little bit different. We don't usually deal with something that's not in the prior year. You're making me have to think.
Yeah, because this is 19, right?
Well, it
So it
would
would
have
be
been
20.
sold in 19, so you
I know
would
what to tell you.
you would have
back.
paid for 19, and then 2020 comes around, you don't own the boat anymore, but we send you a notice. And then the bill comes in, you guys go ahead and pay it. You're like, let's just pay this thing, you need to say over it. And then it comes around, and you're like, we need to get this thing.
Right.
All of that makes sense.
That's.
It
how we
happens all the
get-
time.
How we correct it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so what do I say?
That,
This?
underneath after, yeah.
I do solemnly swear and affirm the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County appraisal district is true and correct.
Okay, so,
Oh, Jackie Pena.
so Jackie, what's the correction to this?
The correction to it is she sold it 19th, got proof it was sold in 19. She's
Yes.
got Texas Park Wildlife records.
Yes.
She paid 20 without, you're just paying 20. We can do a supplement in
Can-
20.
Can you do that?
I have to have a motion, it's chief appraiser correction to the roll or either a motion to correct. Yes, there's a paper that we can do that. And it would actually go in, it would show that we should have closed it in 2020 due to all the paperwork. And then the tax office will send a supplement and they'll, if there's any refund due, they will issue a check.
Do we need to get Mike before we say we can do that?
Probably so, yes.
Then get Mike. We need to get all this settled right now.
I think it was Mike who I spoke.
We don't need this. Go ahead and get Mike.
Do I need another one of those? Right.
I don't know at this point. None of this needs to linger. This needs to be solved.
Okay.
This is,
I don't think this should have
this
went
is
to
y'all's
hearing.
potatoes, but this is
Right.
small potatoes.
Right.
It
So
is.
let's get all this done. Let's get this done and not,
I think
We
if,
just-
I think if we wouldn't have filed the hearing, we could have done this outside of here, but without knowing how it goes.
when
Yeah.
Mike comes in, just let me talk to him and let everybody talk to him.
You can wind it up quickly.
Yeah.
Still got plenty to do on that.
Well, I have a question. When you say a motion, Jackie, a motion from,
I need to make sure y'all can get
It's a
it.
chief appraiser
Yes.
motion.
Hey, Mike.
That's what we think.
We have a BPP account that's referencing back to 2020. So we're going back to 2020, not 2021. And this BPP account, they pay taxes in 2020, but shouldn't have. So we want to supplement and do all that. The question is can the board roll on 2020?
No, so this is a property owner's motion to correct, not a chief appraiser's motion to correct, which the district doesn't necessarily agree with. Typically, what you'll have is a chief appraiser's motion to correct, which we will present in a supplement, where, we do chief appraiser motions all the time. You'll have what's called joint motions to correct, in which the district and the property owner agree. And this is something that we don't, like we might not have agreed with. The Drake property, hang on,
This is a vote.
this is a boat. Did we find out that
We
we
did
did
because-
find out that they were paying taxes in another?
When they shouldn't have been, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, it was already in Nueces County, with records showing from Parks and Wildlife that had been switched over into the current owner's name.
So then
They
you-
paid taxes because they were getting Linebarger notices because the account wasn't closed in 2020, went into 2021 and they got a Linebarger notice, so they came in and just paid it.
Okay, so the 2021 was already deleted?
Yes, the 2021, they didn't get a bill for 2021. This is just to be
So repeat
2020.
your question.
So in 2020, it looks like they shouldn't have got a bill, but they did, and they paid. So can the board make a decision on
Absolutely. they can make-
2020?
Yeah, and in this particular case, we did verify, now that I'm remembering, this
Yeah, there's
particular
emails
case, we did
attached.
verify that they paid, that the boat was not in Aransas County.
Correct.
Again, renditions are important because people tell us that this stuff the very first year, not 2 years later. Having said that, we agree that this should not be on the roll.
But-
So we're good with
but-
that.
They can make a motion. You can actually rule in favor of the property owner that we would agree with.
To supplement
To
2020.
supplement 2020.
Okay.
Okay, and do that as opposed to you guys just doing the chief appraiser motion?
I don't want to, I mean, we didn't. at
Well, we're
this
here
point-
now, we can. do it
Yeah.
now.
What you have in your hand is a property owner's motion that the district agrees in principle with, that you can make a ruling on. It just wasn't done, at the time, it was done by a property owner's motion, as opposed to them having all their documents together and us being able to do what's called a joint motion, which would have been cleaner, but this is what you have now. I'm telling you that we agree in principle that it wasn't here, so you can make a ruling, okay?
You know what you're gonna move? Okay.
Okay, Case ID number 2021-2312. 444, the district and the appraisal review board agree that the property owner's motion for correction of appraisal roll is true and correct, and therefore the item will be and has been removed from our rolls. Okay.
Yes.
I'll second the motion.
But did you say supplement?
And
Hang on,
there needs
one
to be,
second.
You
there
heard
needs to be
you
wording that we're gonna supplement the 2020 to zero.
yeah. They had a value in 2020 because it was still open. You need to say something about the district to supplement the 2020 value.
So the district is agreeing that we will,
Supplement.
I think you need to use the word supplement to show that it's
Yeah.
going to go back and change 2020.
supplement the roll to eliminate the current value that's assessed on the property, on the boat. Is that right?
For 2020.
For 2020.
Yes.
That's it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Finally, maybe?
It was during that whole COVID time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The county dispels it.
Yes, that's right. Okay.
Thanks for coming.
It was a pleasure meeting all of you.
Thank you so much, yeah.
Well, let's hope it's finally done.
Okay, it's done.
Yeah.
Let us know if you get a notice.
She will not get a notice this year.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
I think it was my naivety that I thought, counties spoke to each other.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
I should have known, but yeah.
We blame each other.
It's like you need.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
I was just looking at it.
It's like you need
Yeah, I
a
was just looking
criminal
at her.
lien system that everyone
Oh, I
feeds
see.
into this database and you can see all that. Oh, well,
I don't think you
that's
want
later. It costs money.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
thank you so
All
much.
right.
Don't blow away out there.
You make this extra.
Oh, my
No, you're okay. I think there's two.
They all look like I needed it.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank
Bye.
you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
That blew up mine.
Well, it shouldn't have gotten.
That's why I was
Well,
saying.
when I were to, if I were to close it, like
What year is
in
this?
2021, I could have done that chief appraiser motion myself, but they filed their own motion.
I
So that stepped on my toes I couldn't do anything, so I had to stay open.
So who's
Next.
Is this Garza?
Yes.
All right. This is 2308.
No, yes, that's my address, but it's 1533.
Well, that's just
we're-
the document.
No, the case number, yeah.
Okay, we are commencing a hearing on case ID 2021-2308, account number 8810439. Apologize if I mess up your name. Erasmo?
Yes.
Okay, Erasmo Garza and Lorena Garza
Yes.
from trailer lettered lots I, as shown in the account. This hearing is being recorded. And let's verify what's under protest. It's just a
Under
25.
protest is 2525D correction.
Okay. We are the appraisal review board, 5 of us around this table, that will be hearing your protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, the other folks here, Beth, Ray, and Jackie are all with the district. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using the survey form and emailed to ptad.communications@cpa.texas.gov or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. The survey is voluntary, and all this will be included in information and will be returned to you after the hearing. You have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will also be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with the tax code section 41.45H, all written material that has not been provided, written material and evidence that has not been provided must be provided at this time. We have all of your evidence. This is important. Okay, good. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest, and we are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F.
I, Peggy Berg, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F.
I, Ron McCann, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66.
I, Joanne Ferguson, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F.
Solemnly swear to affirm the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Can you state your name, please?
Lorena Garza.
I do swear or that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Can you state your name, please?
Erasmo Garza.
I, Ray Presley, do solemnly swear from the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Okay, I need to ask if either of you hold a license or certificate from the Texas Appraisers Licensing and Certification Board?
No.
Okay, fine. All right, in front of you is a chart that shows the hearing procedure times. And you have the option of presenting your case first or asking the district to present first. And you do have to make a choice. It's not something we can. You can decide either way.
District.
Okay, Ray, you have 5 minutes for presentation.
Is there any chance that I talked to Abraham?
Yes, my husband.
He was pretty mad, right?
Yes.
That's gonna help me remember.
Okay.
He was pretty hot, right?
Mhm.
And this is a property that has been under construction for a little while.
Yes.
It's being done a little bit at a time, right?
In a period of like 4, 5 years already.
Yeah, right. So
Yes.
the appraisal district drove by. I think the house may have been painted.
Mhm.
We saw that it was painted.
Mhm.
We put it as complete.
Yes.
And then I talked to Abraham, more than likely, I talked to him when he went to pay. He probably went to pay, and then they told him how much. And then that's can
Well,
sometimes inspire you to get,
correct. But the year before,
yeah,
the same situation happened, but we were able to catch it prior
catch it
to.
ahead of time.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
and they said that they were gonna make a notation in our file, unless we submit pictures of completion, that they were gonna continue to charge I think it was like 60% finish or something like that, or
That will
whatever.
never happen, just letting you know.
Okay,
That will just never happen. Like, yeah, an appraisal district's appraising, I mean, you don't have to feel sorry for us or
Yeah,
anything, but we're appraising 30,000 properties every year.
uh-huh,
And so we do it in chunks. And so
okay.
for us to have that kind of detail
Mhm.
is, when we see something painted, we're gonna say it's done.
Done,
If we see an outside air conditioner, we're gonna say it's done.
okay,
And you can imagine, we're not too eager to go walk up and look through people's windows
okay.
to find out if it's done.
Well, you're supposed to, if you're gonna charge, you're supposed to get down and see if it's connected, the water's connected, the switch connected.
We're not, because most people don't really like us on their property. We're not really welcome most of the time to be walking around people's property.
Well, it's better for you guys.
It would be better, it would be. There's a lot of things that could be better. I'm just letting you know
Yeah.
that really the burden in something that's in long construction rests on the homeowner to always be letting the appraisal district know by photos, this is where we're at, this is how much is done, because the appraisal district
But what time of
appraisers,
the year? do we
it's
submit?
best to do it like a good way to do it is just January.
Okay.
Just like if you put it in your calendar on your phone, in January, I need to talk to these guys and let them know how much is done. And just assume that we're gonna think it's done.
Okay,
But saying all of that, what I think is the right number is not 224, 200. I don't believe that that's the right number. I think that the right number is about 166, 850. So I think we shouldn't have done what we did. We shouldn't have done that. It's incorrect. 242 is not right, given the photos that are in this account. So I think that's where I'll start. I'll be right in that area. So I'm done. But it's like let me get back to it. I'll give you a number. 166, 850 would be a better representation of value.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
When were these pictures taken?
they were taken, I think, back in June or August, but it's still at a standstill.
Gotcha.
June of August of 2021.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Okay, let's have 2 minutes to cross-examine Ray and 5 minutes for your presentation. Unless you're willing to accept the 166.
Basically, yeah, he presented pretty well, but I just wanted to add to I had a question actually.
Sure.
Does the appraisal go by the utilities that are there or just the physical?
It's really just the structure.
The structure of the
It's not
home?
easy to value an incomplete home.
Okay.
It's really not.
Mhm.
It's not the simplest thing.
So had it not been painted, it would have been still.
More than likely, if we'd have drove by and saw that it wasn't painted, we
Okay.
would have not, because we knew this house
Assumed.
was under construction.
Yes.
We would have it would have slowed us down a little bit
Okay.
mentally. We would have said, this probably isn't done.
Okay.
Honestly, painting a home is one of the last things that's done. And so it's really a sign. Normally, it's a sign that the house, the two signs are, there's an air conditioner outside
Yeah.
and the house is painted.
Yeah.
If you see those two things, that place is done.
Oh,
90% of the
and we
time.
have both.
No, but
But nothing's connected.
We understand. That's why I'm saying that the
Yeah.
220 something it's not right.
Yeah,
It's not
okay.
right.
Like they're building the house, the money's coming in.
Yes.
And we painted it because it's been taking so long.
Yeah.
And so the weather won't damage the.
Yeah, it makes
wood and
sense.
everything.
In y'all's context, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think if I'm y'all,
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with everything that
Just
you're
to kind
saying.
of seal it and stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because we can't afford to buy a house, so we build it ourselves.
No, I agree.
And that's what I did to my house. It took me 3 years to build it. How the money was coming in.
It's a good way to do it. I mean, other than right now, it's so expensive, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So it may take you longer.
Yes.
You know, you have to kind of slow down a little bit.
So you folks aren't living in the house?
Yes.
No, it's not even livable. There's no utilities. We did, it's funny, I actually got the meter, the gas meter. I was charged 6 months just with the gas meter being installed. There was no running pipes or anything. It wasn't even connected, but for 6 months I was being charged and I was wondering why I was being charged so much. And I'm busy. I'm a nurse, so I'm always working out of town. So I either see my husband, hey, figure this out. He's busy too. So I think we sent my dad because his name's under that property as well. And he figured that because I opened up a meter like for installment, they assumed that it was gonna be, like they weren't even reading the meter.
Oh, well.
Oh, it's an estimate. Maybe it's an estimate. I don't know.
I don't know either. I was just being charged
Did you figure that out?
for a full
Yeah,
6 months.
it's
so
well under.
That's why I'm kind of confused. This is my first time building a home, so I don't know
The
what's,
calculation is below 240.
what's approved or what, you know, the laws and
So we're,
stuff.
yeah. Okay, so are you saying that you're comfortable with the 166?
Yes, what was the previous year?
240, well, this year it was
Previous.
242,
2020.
20, it was 135, 830 previous year. So we're saying that basically $30,000 has been completed since the 5 years.
That and it's also market.
Yes.
It's market. It's like, oh, it's so crazy right now that even though your house isn't complete, you still feel the effects of the overall market. Right. It's all of that. It kind of boils everything up, even something that may seem like it doesn't have value, it still rises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the gas.
Like, don't get them started on that. Right? So,
Yes, I am. And there was also a neighborhood adjustment that may not have been in place the prior
Yeah,
year
it's-
as
it's all
well.
part of it,
It's
you
all
know.
just.
It's just life in general.
in a
Everything
way,
going up.
yeah, in a way, yeah. But we also have this covered for the coming year.
Okay,
This conversation that I've already had with Abraham, like within the coming year, we don't have it as 100%.
okay.
So
So until the
so
2024,
really, we're talking about 23.
23 is
Yeah.
covered.
No, you, like in January 23, you should call us
Okay,
and say, this is where we're at.
okay.
Okay, so they're gonna give her a discount on
Payback.
what payback?
All right, then I think we're all in agreement on case ID 2021-2308, account 88100439. The appraisal review board is in agreement that the property does meet the 2525D correction and will lower the value assessed on the property to $166,850.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. So you'll receive information about the determination. Go from there.
Okay,
Good job.
thank you, I
Yeah,
appreciate
glad you
it.
guys got it in. I know it was at the last minute. It was
Yes.
close.
Yeah.
No, don't be shy if you're. one of those that-
We're gonna be shy.
Walk in there and.
We try to be like Batman. We don't even want you to know we're.
Because I still got some mobile homes, I still got mobile homes that is still damaged from the hurricane,
Okay.
and I haven't had time to fix them, so.
I don't even put the name on the side of my car. I don't want anybody.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
And you all have a nice day.
Thank you too.
I think that's it. I'll double check, at least for hearings. Just for hearings, so we have a few motion things to take care of. And some letters, you know.
So that concludes the hearings for this morning. Would you like a break or?
Yeah, let's take I just need a quick break.
All right.
I live in Holiday Beach on Bel Air, across from Ron's daughter, Jennifer. Yeah. We've been through it all.
Harbor Oaks.
I'm in Lamar Point.
So we're scattered all over.
Yeah, where are you?
Harbor Oaks. Encina, that long.
Yeah, it goes on and on.
And where are you?
I'm the country club.
Country Club. My son lives on Henderson.
Oh, okay.
Where all the deer are. Well, they're all over.
Deer are everywhere.
That's right.
I
Deer.
have 4 empty lots next to me. And
Oh,
they
goodness.
hang out there all the time because there's
Yeah.
trees and grass and.
Yeah,
My wife feeds
and it's
them on our
quiet,
front
nobody
porch, on
bugs.
our front steps.
I know.
They're loaded out there every night.
We've driven in Lamar and we've counted one,
You going out there? Deer out there at all?
not in Holiday Beach. I haven't
didn't
seen
think
any
so.
in
I
Holiday
haven't seen
Beach.
any over there.
No,
Now, you don't get too many.
not on the west.
Yes,
side.
we do. They come up from the wilderness area there, that bird sanctuary area. They
We
come up
counted
from
over
there.
150 one night. We were driving around in Lamar.
In
Beautiful.
Lamar.
In Lamar,
Well,
yes.
There's probably that many in the country club.
Oh, I'm
It's just so
sure.
different, I mean, literally birds.
Mhm.
That's what you call a bunch of them.
Right, they
Birds.
just tame, just walk right across the street.
Oh,
man.
I have to stop my car all the time because they'll get in the middle of the street when I'm walking my dog sometimes. I'll
Yeah.
be walking the dog here and they're standing right there and they just
Be
stand
glad
there
you
and
don't
watch.
have
They're like
pigs.
statues.
Yeah, if I don't move, you'll
And
never
my
notice
dog
me.
just
And
sits there and looks at him. She doesn't try to attack him or go after him. It's like a standoff.
I know.
They are brazen. I had a situation one time where there was one female and about 8 bucks.
Ooh.
And they got that female right up against my front door, which is glass.
oh my God.
And she was like, slammed into the front door. And then this was really interesting. There were like at least 8 good-sized bucks. And they kind of surrounded her because one guy was going to get her.
Yeah.
And
It's
she managed to
rutting
get away off
season,
my
huh?
front porch, but that luckily didn't break the glass front doors.
I know
We went
it.
into the lots next to us, the 4 empty lots. And that one deer, and she hunkered down in the corner, and the one biggest buck who was basically going to get her, anytime any of the other bucks would try to approach her, and he would scare them all.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she's just stayed there in that corner for a long,
They get
long
real
time.
dangerous in that stage.
Yeah, they're very possessive, but so I watched them for a long time, and he finally got her.
They made it,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it was like, okay, we're done.
Right.
Yeah, leave me
And
alone.
everybody walked
Yeah,
their
right.
separate
Get
ways.
away from me.
But I'm
Oh,
telling you,
yeah.
that's, they were right up on my, and I have like a entryway to the front door, and they were right in there.
Back.
Back.
Letters and some
I know
motions,
it.
chief appraiser motions.
What number is that? Oh, number 7.
Is that
Yeah, I
docket?
see, 5 is the letters and 7 and 8 are on motions to correct.
Which one are we gonna do?
We'll see what she comes in with.
Okay.
We just
Trying to
do what
find
we're
it
told,
here.
right?
That's right.
All the paperwork, folks, we usually leave it here.
Yes, it looks like it. That's what we did last time.
Right.
I should pick it all off.
Shredded over there.
Shredded or whatever they do with that big file, I'm not sure. What do we do next time?
Will be letters, I think is the next thing.
What is that covered?
3 letters.
Just have the 2?
Yes. Yes, the third letter was from Kamlesh Patel that y'all ruled on before the hearings.
Is that, let's see, letters addressed to?
Yeah, it's under five.
And so the first one is going to be O'Connor, which should be the 19816 letter folder.
I'm gonna read it out loud. Are we ready? You all here?
I think so.
Mike's
Oh.
Yeah, I believe so. Right.
Okay.
Ventilation.
Okay, this is a letter from O'Connor, for you guys who don't know, they're a company that represents clients in their protests. And this is addressed to by certified mail. It was received on January 31, 2022. It was written January 25th, 2022. Addressed to Michael Soto and Valerie Smith. And addresses and email information to the Aransas County Appraisal Review Board for a PID number 19816-2121 FM 3036, Rockport, Texas 78382. Motion regarding protest of failure to give notice, section 41.411A. This letter serves as our motion on behalf of the above referenced property to correct the appraisal records. We respectfully request that you join this motion pursuant to section 41.411A and allow us to present documentation that will affect the 2021 values of the subject property. Our section 41.411 motion is required since the current owner of record hired O'Connor and Associates to protest the account. O'Connor filed an appointment of agent form on 5/21/2021, which is attached. We protested the account on May 17, 2021. We're requesting that a formal hearing date be set for our client. Please confirm receipt of this email. We will appreciate you joining us in our motion to protest before the Appraisal Review Board is outlined in section 41.411A. Should you have any questions or required additional information, excuse me, I can be reached at telephone number, by email, and their email number, signed by Deborah King, non-core county supervisor. And attached is an appointment of agent for property tax matters. Step one is the taxpayer's name is Don Buttram, but Buttrum.
Buttram.
Yeah, Buttram. Name, address is 25-100 South IH 35, Aransas, Texas 78132. And under step two, it's checked. The property is listed below, and the property is 19816. That's the appraisal district account number. The physical address is 2121 FM 3036, Rockport, Texas. Fulton Outlots, lot 122, part of serial number Texas 3117009, title number 0055972, label and text 0410505. Legal description is acre 7.5746, model Lancer. Additional MH Fleetwood Festival RAD 0958628. And it, let's see, the agent is O'Connor Associates. Agent authority, all property tax matters concerning the property identified.
All communications from the chief appraiser, all communications from the appraisal review board. And it's signed. Signature property owner, and I can't read this. This isn't it.
I think that's,
Can anybody read that?
I think that's the veteran.
Oh, it's probably Donald Buckram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the-
Right, yeah.
Signature of the property.
It's dated
Yeah.
5/21/2021. Okay. So,
If I can,
yeah, go ahead.
if I can summarize what you've got.
Yeah, please.
So you have a property tax agent that's petitioning you to have a meeting, right? So you had Don Buttram, and then you had a manager for Don. I can't remember her name. Denise Fisher, and then so she came in during the appeal time last year in 2021 and had a conference with one of our appraisers. They had a settlement agreement. In the interim, unbeknownst to her, Don had entered into agreement with the property tax agent, and the property tax agent came like a day later or a week later or something like that. And so we had already had a settlement agreement, but there was before, like at that same time, they'd had this appointment of tax agent. So they're saying, hey, we were the agent. We should have been the one that handled the meeting. And we asked our attorney about it, and he agrees with this tax agent that they should have had the meeting. So what essentially is going to take place in the district, this is the district's opinion, that settlement is void and they get to like have their shot at it.
O'Connor does.
O'Connor gets to have a shot at having a meeting with one of our people, and if they don't have a resolution with one of our people, then they get to come talk to you next.
Is that basically because they had been appointed as the
Right, but we hadn't
representing,
received the
but you didn't know
paperwork.
that.
When we
So-
sent the notice out, Don Buttram did not have an agent on record.
Right.
Somewhere in the middle, and we were working it out with them, which we do all the time, with settlements, and hey, I want a tax agent.
You agreed and then.
But they didn't
settled.
tell us that, hey, while they're signing the settlement, they didn't tell us, oh, we hired a tax agent.
Oh.
Again, good information. It's good to communicate. It would be great for all of us.
So we're just
You're just ruling on whether
giving
they should
you
have a
the
hearing.
authority to
No, you're ruling on whether they should have a hearing.
whether they should have a hearing.
No, that they should have a hearing. You're ruling on that whether or not that they're eligible for hearing. And it's our opinion they should. But in as much, what we're immediately gonna do is we're gonna reach out to them and say, here's what we agreed to with the property owner. Is that good? And if we have a settlement agreement with them, then they get the credit of having conducted the negotiation of.
And who was Jamie Fisher?
She's the she works for Don Buttram. I don't know if she's a part owner of that company.
Right, there's some documents and her business card is included on that in another, other than the letter, there's another file.
Okay, so we can go ahead and make a recommendation. You ready for that? Okay, regarding account property ID number 19816-2021, FM 3036, Northport, Texas. The appraisal review board agrees that we should allow the O'Connor Associates to present their evidence regarding this account.
Second.
Hang on one second. What was the account that you said?
The account they've listed is 19816- oh, I don't know, the 2021 is FM 36 is the address.
No, that's fine. I didn't hear 19816, but that may have been my.
I did say that.
Okay.
And you seconded?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, we have another letter from the Morales familia.
Is that, what account number is that?
I'm gonna find it here in a second.
61291.
I see it now, 61291, it's 2417 Bay Vista. Okay, it's addressed to, it's not addressed to anybody. It says, good morning, ladies. Last year, my husband Caleb did not read his email and we missed the opportunity to protest the increase in our property valuation. CAD number 61291, which resulted in an increase in our property taxes, unlike a few of our neighbors. I would like to know if we can protest the increase this year. Attached is the 2021 protest form. I will be happy, I guess, to resubmit the form for 2022, as it appears that all is still valid. Please let me know. Thanks, Ella Morales. Attached is property owner's notice of protest. And they're protesting incorrect appraised market value and values unequal compared with other properties. With the address that I've already read. Our unimproved property, CAD number 61291, Manning Block 439, lot 11.1722 acres, 75 by 150, is significantly smaller. Parentheses 1 versus 2 lots plus right of way in parentheses. Then the unimproved property just north, CAD number 27919, Manning Block 438, lot 7 and 8. And 30.75 times 150. Closing of street adjacent to lot 7.4502 acres, and then that gives about the property size, which has a value of $39,220 across the unimproved right of way, which is not maintained by county. However, I am charged a yearly county road and flood fee. Another double-sized unimproved property, CAD 64150, Manning Block 439, lot 15. They have checked that they want to appear in person. They have an email, electronic address I provided in section 1 of this form. And it's dated 4 of May 2021, signed by Caleb Morales. And attached is pretty much what I just read in terms of the other properties that they were comparing it to. So our decision is whether to give him a hearing, is that correct?
Did you read the response letter by the district?
I'm sorry, that I didn't have that.
I'll read it.
I don't have it.
Okay, I'll read the response letter that was emailed to them.
It's under 2022 documents.
Yeah, and it says Wednesday, March 30th was the date. Hi, Eileen, regarding to your protest in 2022 value, you may certainly do so. The 2022 notice of appraised value has not been mailed yet. When you receive that notice in late April, there will be a protest form included that you can fill out and return within 30 days. Another option is to fill out the protest form from the comptroller's website. That is the form that you filled out last year. We can't use the 2021 protest attached because of the 2021 date on the top of the first page and the date at the bottom of the second page. Finally, there's also an online option for protesting to the district's website at aransascad.org. We will start accepting 2022 protests as soon as the notices of appraised value are mailed. Since we are in receipt of your 2021 protest, we must present it at the ARB at their next available meeting. They will rule on whether you will grant you a late hearing or not for 2021. It is the district's position that you were late and a no-show, and it is past the delinquency date, and therefore you are not eligible for a 2021 protest. Sincerely, Dr.
Okay, so basically all we're here to determine is that they either are or are not going to hear it, correct? It has nothing to do with 2022.
That's correct.
I mean, to me, the dates are well past any deadlines, and
They're late.
the hearing that was scheduled, they didn't show up, so. I think that we've denied a hearing on this one.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion regarding ACAD number property 61291. That the appraisal review board is in agreement with the district that information was not submitted on a timely basis by the Morales, and therefore we denied the opportunity for them to have a hearing.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Just for your reference, the other account number 52290 was the one that I read right at the beginning where you made a ruling on the person that left to India. So you've already made a ruling on that one. We're moving on to item 6.
We have covered 6
Okay.
already,
Okay.
so we would go on to item 7. If you're ready for that
I
one.
am. So the chief appraiser motions, they're in your section there. I'm going to just read them. Very first chief appraiser motion is Circle WMH RV spot B 41. It's 1401 Jim Smokehouse Road. The account number is 8809805. It's an inclusion of the property that's not exist in the form of location described for the tax rolls 2018 and 2019. There was a manufactured home that was sold per owner of the property, so it was not there. Okay. Second one is chief appraiser's motion to correct Burton Danforth, block 212, lot 13. It's improvement only. It's at 713 West Guile. The account number is 60266. Clerical error that affects the property's owner's liability for tax imposed for 2016 through 2021. This is to revoke a motion that was signed on August 23rd, 2021. It was a required an application that was not obtained from the property owner prior to the chief being asked to sign the motion. Despite repeated attempts by the district, the application was never returned. The original motion that was to put the personal property account 60266 and the real property of 14127 into a homestead group. So again, this was something we jumped the gun back at that time. You know, somebody called, said, hey, can I put these two together? Yeah, no problem. We'll put a chief appraiser's motion together to include this into a property group. They never filled out the paperwork. We have to revoke the motion. That's what this is about. Next one is chief appraiser's motion to correct or appraisal roll for the Burton Danforth 713. This is the other property. One was the mobile home. This was the land. This is 14127. It's the same. Again, this is the other half of that same one. And that's all the chief appraiser motions that I have.
We need a motion to accept these.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion regarding chief appraiser's motion for correction of appraisal roll. The appraisal review board is in agreement with the district that these changes should be made.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
Okay, motion carries.
Next, we have discussion and possible action on motion correction for appraisal roll 52444. This was a property thing. This was something that was heard by you. I came in and talked to the Drake that was no longer here. So for the 2020 year, you made a ruling on that. What also you have is a joint motion to correct. Well, I guess that's on the next thing. But the joint motion is followed.
That's all. That was, yeah, there's no joint motion on the table. That was something we didn't sign before, that it's just. Well, okay, that was 2020. This was 2020. That's just disregard because doesn't have anything to do with.
It's the
joint
same.
motions. Yeah, but it was 2021. We weren't even here that year. That's all long done.
It's already been done.
Mhm.
Okay, got it. Presentation of possible action, current real supplements.
Well, so for the property owner's motion, I guess we would just say an approval on it. Have a motion to
Okay.
approve the property owner's motion.
This is on
Hang
number
on.
8, is that
This
correct?
is one we already,
Did the hearing on?
Yeah.
We did this.
Right,
so we,
but as far as like, the motion to just go ahead and say, yes, we have the motion, in front of us, we had the hearing. If you hadn't agreed to the hearing, you would have denied it right now. It's just a good idea to have another motion, saying what you actually did during the hearing.
property is 52444.
Regarding property, what is it, 52444?
Yes.
The ARB accepts the property owner's motion for correction of appraisal roll and has already heard this case and made a determination on it.
A second.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Get ready before. Okay, number 9, is there anything else on that one?
We did online, wasn't it?
No, and there wasn't anything under number 9.
Okay.
Where
I think, let's make sure.
See, no.
Okay. Hold on, let me go do that.
Yeah, you're looking at the tablet, I'm looking at the
I'm looking at.
the agenda, so,
And it doesn't,
no, she, I think she's
Okay.
gonna go fix that.
What we did for possible action.
Oh, great.
Possible, yeah.
I've had a lot of wind recently, man,
How
for the
many?
last 2 or 3 days.
Is it still windy? Is it still real windy?
Yeah,
Down a little, not a lot.
my goodness.
All right, well, the only good thing
Southeast wind is
is
just been
hopefully,
blowing.
hopefully blow all the leaves down and get it over.
Yeah, I need the pollen to
and
get
the
out of that
pollen,
last,
yeah.
that
it's-
last tree.
The green stuff started to come down.
Of course, a heavy rain would help too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we needed rain.
Yeah, I've been watering.
I just had sod laid and it's like water and it goes every place. but
Every
where it
place
should.
but where-
Here, yeah.
You put any dirt down before the sod, or does it have like a little, like you actually laid sod square?
It was out of somebody else's yard, but it had dirt under it. It was fairly thick and we had laid down. The guy that was doing it for me had laid down dirt anyway, but.
Good.
But with all this wind, it's.
Right.
The supplements are there now. Yeah, with all the wind, it's been drying stuff
Yeah,
out.
my windows look really clean, but the grass didn't get wet.
So, yeah, number
Okay, so I see those supplements.
So on the supplement detail is typically the one, like that's the most inclusive one, but then you also have the supplement group, which is the bottom one. That's usually the summary, I believe. So that's the summary. We have the groups indicated, group 369, I'm sorry, 396, 397, 398, 99, and 400. You can look on the 396, there was an exemption, disaster exemption removal. There's some chief appraiser motions there. Legal appeals, so those are agreed judgments. So we had some lawsuits that came to a close, and that was a big one. 397, again, it's the a disaster exemption removal. There's homestead caps, 25B, you'll see a whole bunch of those. Homestead cap, business closure, homestead cap, business closure, arbitration award. Again, if you'll remember, the arbitration award is something after the ARB. An individual has an option to go to lawsuit or arbitration. These are the arbitration award in those years. Again, another legal appeal agreed judgment. And then you'll move on to group 398. This is a data layer change. There's really no change. It's something we do with the computer. Same thing for 99 and 400. There's no value change. It's just freeze and refreeze calculations. I welcome any questions that you might have in the details if you want to look at that.
Can these all be grouped together with one?
Supplement groups are opened up in the system and they're recorded by number so that we can track the change. And so this is the best way we know how to do it.
Yeah, I think she was gonna ask if she could just.
No,
do
do
one
I need
motion.
to, can I just make one motion?
Oh,
to
yeah,
accept the
absolutely.
supplemental?
Yeah. You can, the supplemental group presentation is what you would say.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that the appraisal review board accept the supplemental orders as presented by the district.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay. I do believe we have covered everything.
We did that earlier.
You already did the old business one?
We were in conference with the auditor. And then the next ARB meeting,
Yeah, we set for May 11th. I'm sorry, May 9th.
And 11.
Yeah, and 9th will be the
Public hearing?
public hearing.
May 11th will be
May
the
11th
public
is a
hearing.
public hearing.
9th is an agenda item for them to talk over.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as we do the public hearing prior to the
15th,
15th, right?
yes.
Yeah,
And that's a Sunday.
and yeah, it's so.
Excuse me?
If
No.
15th
no,
is a
15th
Sunday.
Sunday. The 11th is
Oh, yeah,
not.
you're right.
So
Thanks,
We didn't do it on Sunday.
And just for information, if any dedication date, like a date of requirement by the property tax code, if it falls on a Saturday or Sunday, it goes to the next business day. That's a promulgated rule. You can ask your attorney about it, but that's the way the
Yeah.
district
So we
sees it.
already set the date, so.
Yeah,
it's
so-
fine.
And then the role presentation is, when are we doing the role presentation?
We haven't set a date. We could maybe incorporate it into May 9th.
But we're required by, I'm sorry, the ARB capture role presentation. It's
So
set,
records, yeah.
but it's before the 30th or is it before the 15th? So we may end up doing it on the 11th. We may end up doing the ARB capture role presentation. And just a little bit of heads up there, in years past, if we don't have like the DPP or the minerals in because of the late filing. Again, the property tax code that says that somebody can request a late filing with one of those things, it pushes it out to that date. And we don't have the complete record yet. If we don't, we'll present a document along with what we captured, and then we'll tell you what is not there. And then when we get it, we'll present it at the next meeting to say, okay, these are in now.
You want to do that on the 9th, because the 11th is the public hearing.
Either one, so we can probably do it at either one. It's, again, we'll
I
let,
didn't know if we could
we'll,
do the public
we'll let
hearing
you know
on
because
Sunday.
that's more of our operation
Okay.
to submit it to you.
As long as you can get it done by the 9th. Or have something done by the 9th.
Yeah, 9th or the 11th are pretty much, we're gonna do it at one of those two meetings.
And we do have like a hearing that was postponed today. Do we want to roll those into the first day of hearings on the regular season, or do you want to try to hear those beforehand?
I don't recall if if he said when he was gonna be back at the end of April, as I recall.
The 29th is what you.
Yeah.
And we have another.
We had another, yeah.
That's
Yeah, so,
Okay.
so let's, if it works out that we could do it on the 9th, that's fine. I think we also are kind of leaving it open-ended for the 9th based on how many protests come in after the mailing of the notices.
right.
So we'll kind of keep, we'll keep you guys apprised of how that looks for the 9th. There probably won't be a lot of stuff, but at the same time, we'll just see how it goes. Is that
All right.
fine?
Yeah.
Okay, I make a
Sounds good.
motion. But we adjourn.